What's up, everybody? Who's ready for the NHL draft?
Number 4. A couple teams after that have been poking around. I just, you never know. It's unlikely to happen, I believe, but there is some noise, and we're holding out some hope for some big activity here.
I'm going to go off the board a little bit from you guys. I think that what really impresses me is the state of the National Hockey League, the state of the game of hockey, to be honest with you. And Norway has 2 prospects that could go in the first round of this NHL entry draft, in Stein Solberg, who's a riser on the back end of defenseman, and then Michael Brandsegg-Nygard. So, those are the cool underlying stories. Like, the game is in a good place around the world. This is a fine example of 2 Norwegians that could go in the top 20, which I think is a really cool story.
It will be a historic day for them, for sure. There's never been anyone from Norway selected in the first round. Give me just one player. Give me one player you're most interested to see where they land, Sam.
Jett Luchanko. At the start of the year, he was an afterthought, and he just made a steady rise throughout the course of the season, playing center with the Guelph Storm. Very interested. I think he's a top 20 guy now.
Chuck, you got a player for me?
Yeah, Tij Iginla. Will he make it to number 9 to the Calgary Flames, or will some team like Montreal or Utah jump the queue?
No. Books?
Buium, love him. Plays like his hair's on fire, plays fast, offense, pushback physically, wins everywhere he goes. He's number 4 on my draft list. That might be an outlier, but that's how much I love him.
All right, we're about to get some answers here. We're going to get some more answers about the news of the day as we head to the floor with our Elliot Friedman. Elliot.
Dave, your guys were talking trades. A couple of things. Columbus had a couple of offers for 4. Philadelphia was one. Carolina was another. The Flyers seemed to think earlier today that wasn't going to happen. And the word was that Martin Necas, who was the key to the Carolina deal with Columbus, wasn't going to happen either. Looked like Columbus was going to make their pick. We'll see where it goes. Also, Montreal at 5. A lot of smoke around them. They made another trade today with the Kings to get picks. We'll see, but it seemed as if Montreal was going to make the 5th pick as it stood. One other thing I wanted to mention, this is the Anaheim Ducks pin. Glenn Cochran, one of their longtime scouts, passed away this year. They're wearing this in
see
honor
some
of
trades
him tonight. Just a great touch.
Come on.
Kyle?
Make it exciting.
Elliot, look up, look way up. 366 feet tall stands the Sphere. The views from any of the nearly 18,000 seats in this place are out of this world. Tonight, though, we are in the epicenter
The
of
Sphere
the hockey
looks
world as the top 18-year-old
crazy
players take
cool,
one
man.
massive step towards
I'm
realizing
glad the
their
NHL
dream.
went
Now,
to the
this venue
Sphere.
is taking a break from
It's going to be
showing
the last
film.
year where they do the
Postcard from Earth to
centralized
host the
draft.
here tonight, so consider this our postcard from the hockey sphere.
All the
After a player
as of
hears
next
their
season,
name
all the
and makes
teams
their
are
way
going to
down
be in
the
their own
stage,
complexes,
no
in their
better way
own
to
in their
break
own
the ice
buildings,
than
in
a
their own
conversation with
offices,
Jeff Merrick.
like the NBA draft.
Yes, Kyle, they're so lucky they get to sit next to me. The wonderful thing about the draft is it's all good news stories. It's happiness, it's smiles, it's tears, it's hugs, and it's high fives. And today is a day for Macklin Celebrini, who'll be sitting here in a couple of moments. Call it a Macklin celebration as we crown him the first overall draft pick for the San Jose Sharks coming up in a couple of moments. But the one thing that a lot of people are still curious about, and we don't have
Let me hear your predictions. Who are the Leafs taking with their pick in the
will he
first
turn
round?
pro next year with the San Jose
I think it's going to
Sharks,
be a
or
right-handed
will he go
defenseman.
back to college and play for Boston University? One of the things we'll ask him here in a couple of moments, David.
Well, that's interesting, and we're planning to have Macklin Celebrini on our set.
I'm streaming the draft. This is live,
the
so
number 1 pick. Let's get the
what
draft
you're
started
seeing
from the Sphere in
is
Las Vegas.
live
The 2024
television.
NHL Entry Draft begins now.
The NHL Draft. For 225 players over 7 rounds, this is the moment when a dream becomes reality. But then it's time to dream bigger. Don't just dream about playing for a franchise, but about transforming it.
EJ Emery would be
Don't just
great.
dream about playing
I got a couple of guys on
but
my
about
list.
facing off
I'll put it in the chat.
And don't just
But I got a couple of guys on my
dream
list
about scorching,
that I
but
put up on
about getting
Facebook.
here. Because this is the NHL Draft.
What did I
And
put?
your next dream begins now.
Yeah, I got EJ Emery, Adam Jiricek, Cole Bedoin, and Charlie Elick. That's who I got, guys.
Good evening, Las Vegas.
Boo.
I always knew
Marner to Buffalo. Eh? What is Buffalo going to give the Leafs for Mitch Marner is the key question here. We could trade him anywhere. What's the package?
The faces that you see behind me are the future of the National Hockey League. And tonight and tomorrow, their dreams will come true and foundations of Stanley Cup champions will be built. The National Hockey League is thrilled to bring this event to this remarkable venue that has redefined entertainment. And we are honored to stage the first sporting event and the first live televised event at Sphere Las Vegas. Our thanks to James Dolan for welcoming us into his creation, and to all of the talented people at Sphere for helping us make the 62nd NHL Draft the most dazzling yet. Congratulations to all of the prospects with us here.
Who likes the t-shirt? Willie Styles. Willie Styles t-shirt. It's a good one. One of my favorite t-shirts.
And other family members and coaches whose support cannot be over-acknowledged. And thanks to the best fans in all of sports, whether you are here tonight or watching at draft parties or anywhere in the world. We appreciate your incredible support. The first pick.
Seriously, if they
first pick. Upper Deck NHL Draft belongs to
the San Jose Sharks.
San Jose, you are on the clock.
All right, so there we go. Welcoming us in, the Commissioner, Gary Bettman. And what is a historic
this
night
is
here
really
in
a live
Sphere.
stream of
And
what's
that's
on
just the
television
setting.
right
Let's
now.
not forget, it's about the 32
No one's
families and
messing
the
around
32 men
here.
who are going to be selected
This
in
is for
round.
real.
And right now, Sam, all eyes on that man, Macklin Celebrini.
Well, San Jose, I mean, they had such a great run from playoffs to the Joe Thornton years, the Joe Pavelski years, but it's time for a rebuild. And you look at some of the players they've got coming in Will Smith, Casper Haltonen with the London Knights, David Edstrom, who they acquired in a trade with the Vegas Golden Knights, and now the opportunity to add Macklin Celebrini is going to give them depth down the middle of the ice for years and years to come.
And what are they getting in Macklin Celebrini?
Franchise player. I mean, this isn't just offense, though, guys. This is a guy that's going to toe the rope for the entire organization.
Any San Jose fans in the chat right now?
He's going to set the standard, Chuck, with the way
How
that
excited
I
are you
come to the
guys
rink
for Macklin
prepared.
Celebrini?
This is how we're going to win. This is what I expect out of my group. Future captain type material. This is an elite player.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is a guy that's going to change your whole franchise. Not every draft has a franchise player. But after 5 years of misery in San Jose and bottoming out this year, they had 2 losing streaks over 10 games. They get a chance to get Macklin Celebrini, who's going to dominate both ends of the ice. He's not Sidney Crosby, but he's Crosby-esque in terms of the two-way effort, the two-way game. This is a special player, and this is a great moment for the Sharks organization and Mike Grier.
And this is the first time the Sharks ever have the first overall pick. You can see the smile there. He can hardly contain it. The GM, Mike Grier, very excited to be in this position to really build that foundational piece for this franchise.
Well, it's odd, David, because, you know, when we did the draft lottery in San Jose 1, I was there at the show, and John Buchacross said, hey, what do you think here? And he said, well, Macklin Celebrini, basically. And then he went on a couple of other occasions to say Celebrini as part of his prospect group. And I thought, wow, every general manager, Chuck, you've sat in that seat.
That's true. The Pens don't have a pick in the first
so it's kind of
round.
refreshing to see. I mean, we all knew that, but the general manager never says it. Greer has done it on a couple of occasions already.
One thing I want to point out here, guys, is that different teams are going to build your organizations different ways. And all those names you just were speaking of there, Sammy, coming on board with the Sharks in the future, what a mix. We got some smaller skill guys. We got some big horses who shoot the puck. Like, if you want to play it hard along the wall, we can do that. You want to, have a skill speed game. They've got all kinds of prospects on the horizon. That's a nice mix to have.
Sphere is so
They also
cool,
have the 11th pick coming up, and they have 2 more first-rounders next year. I mean, better days are ahead. They've been through pain, but this is the start of a great era right now in San Jose.
one of 6
You're
teams
welcome,
with multiple
buddy.
picks in the first round, 6 teams without
I
a
do
single
what I
pick
can
in
for
the
the
first
people.
round. And we're awaiting the pick from the San Jose Sharks. Again, last year, the first 4 picks, gentlemen, were centers. This year, and we know Celebrini's about to go here, but we are expecting a lot of defensemen to hear their name in the top 10.
No question. Probably 5 of them, maybe as many as 6. And, you know, with all the talk that Mike Grier had about Celebrini, finally,
it is here. Let's hear the
Let's
pick
go.
is in for the San Jose
The worst
Sharks.
kept secret. First overall, Macklin Celebrini.
I'd like to thank our great fans here and around the world. Yeah! And a big shout out to our draft party at the Shark Tank. We really appreciate your guys' support. And I'd also like to congratulate Glenn Sather on a terrific career in hockey.
I don't know if I'm going to be streaming the
Making our
second
selection
round
will
tomorrow.
be one of the greatest
Tomorrow
passers
is
of
my
all
birthday.
time.
I got the
Former
entire
number
family
one overall pick
coming over.
and
It's a
Sharks
big
great
barbecue for Canada
Joe
Day.
Thornton.
You know, I'm gonna try to see what I can do for you guys, but oh my God, Joe Thornton, San Jose legend, coming out of nowhere to announce the first pick.
Here we go. Let's go Sharks! With the first overall selection in the 2024 NHL Draft, the San Jose Sharks are very proud to select from Boston University, Macklin Celebrini.
Wow, what a cool thing to have Joe Thornton call your name. Pretty sick.
What a moment for the Celebrini family. Dad Rick, Mom Robin, brother Aiden, of course, who was drafted by Vancouver in the 6th round last year. It takes a family, and there it is. And it was very cool to have Joe Thornton, the first overall pick from 1997, and a Shark hero, introducing the newest Shark hero.
it's almost like Joe had met him a couple of times before and he knew what was going on. He gave him that sly little look and said, all right, welcome finally and officially to the
First
San
pick is
Jose
out of the way,
Sharks. So
and now
we
things
knew
are
this
gonna
was
get-
going to be the case going all the way
things are
back
gonna
to
get
day
interesting,
1 when
people.
we first started talking about the 2024 draft. Now it's come to
All right,
fruition.
everybody
What
in
I
the
really
chat,
like about this young man,
who's going
a lot
second
like
overall?
Connor
Hurry
Bedard,
up.
he
Get your
has
picks in.
embraced every single moment of being that #1 guy. In the college ranks with older players, no problem.
Get
All
your
the
picks
media
in. Who's
requests,
going second
no
overall?
problem. Draft lottery, you want to come on there
Come on.
all alone? No problem. So at every
Let's see
step
who
of
gets
the
it
way,
right.
he's taken it in. He's lived in the moment. He's enjoyed the process. He's enjoyed the fame, and it's only about to get bigger for this young man. Congratulations to Macklin Celebrini.
big
He
kid.
is, as you guys say, a franchise player.
Once they
Well,
get
what
on
stands
stage
out
and
for me,
stand
even
beside
watching
the
him,
other
you
guys,
know,
you
when his
really get
name
a
gets
sense of how
announced, it's the
big and tall they
composure.
are, how
Yeah,
wide they
boy,
are, like, you know,
this
what kind
guy's
of a
just
build they
programmed a
have.
different
And
way,
Macklin
fellas, and
Celebrini
he's
has a
gonna
pretty
be an
good
exceptional
height
pro.
and build on him.
And you say young man, and he just turned 18 3 weeks ago.
We
Youngest
have
player in the
one
NCAA, a freshman
in
winning
the
the Hobie
chat.
Baker. How
The
much do you
D-man
factor that
from
in, Chuck, when
Michigan.
you think about the skill set of a player like that? Also, the fact he's so young.
Levshunov
Well, you even go back to his UHL days.
Demidov. I don't know, man.
16 years old, basically
I
led
don't
the
know.
league in scoring last year. 17
probably
years old, the
gonna be
best
Levshunov.
collegiate player in the country. I mean, he's the youngest player in the
You
country,
never
the
know.
best player in
He's-
the country. So
he's
it's
scouting
incredible. Obviously, he's
teams.
a quick learner. He's
They
going to
look
adapt
for very
very quickly to the
specific things,
NHL,
and
and
all
I'm
of
sure
a
he'll be a
sudden,
very good player if he
I
chooses to turn
think
pro.
I think the
one
top
thing
5
here,
is
guys,
not going to
that he's a
be
three-zone
as
player
everybody
too, right?
expects
We're
it
seeing
to
all
be.
these highlights, exceptional on the offense, but he touches all 3 zones and plays with a ton of detail. So coach's dream, you know what you're getting when you throw him over the boards.
Well, I look at him, like I covered Macklin Celebrini, Sidney Crosby back in, you know, his days in Rimouski, and the detail in which he played with in all 3 zones, how he handled the media pressure, how that when his team needed him most, he was able to progress and be that guy and perform when it was most difficult. And then the leadership part that comes with it. The guy who's first on the ice, who's last off it in the gym. These are all impressive things about this young man. So I do see a comparison there for sure.
The consensus
Yep.
#1 pick.
The San
Macklin
Jose Sharks
Celebrini
have a
right now
history
standing
of
by with our
Canadian
Jeff there. Jeff.
captains. Thornton,
David, thanks very much
Marlowe.
alongside Macklin Celebrini. First of all, Macklin,
Bels-
congratulations. And did you have
Belsky?
any idea that it was
And
going to
then
be
this
Joe
kid's
Thornton
definitely
making the
going to be a
pick?
captain.
No,
one
I had
day.
no idea. That was a great surprise. I was super happy you made the pick.
I can only imagine went through your head when you saw that man and that beard walking up to the podium. Now, Junior Shark as a
Legendary
kid, did
beard.
it almost seem
Goat
like destiny?
status
And when we
beard.
were playing as a Junior Shark, did you ever imagine a day like this wearing the same jersey?
To be honest, no. I never thought that far in the future. I was just enjoying my hockey when I was a young kid. So, but to go full circle here, it's a really exciting moment for me and my family.
What goes through your mind when you see these old shots of you with the Sharks jersey?
It's crazy. It's crazy. It's honestly, it's surreal that life came full circle and I'm back to where I was.
Your family is thrilled for you. A lot of people are thrilled for you. Who outside of your family do you
Throw
think
up
is
some
happiest
likes,
for you right now?
throw up some subs maybe.
Probably
Come
my
on,
closest
guys.
friends and
We
coaches
got
that have helped me,
357
my
people
whole life.
watching this
They've
right
been
now.
everything to me, and the support that they showed me, and everything that I've been taught. So, I'd probably say them.
Okay, here's the big question. Have you made a decision yet? Will you be wearing that jersey next year or back to BU?
I have not. I have not made a decision yet.
I
still
am
gotta
in
talk
Toronto,
to, my career
at
in the
home
San
in my
Jose
office.
organization, and my
Is
coach is
usually
back
where
at
I
BU,
stream
but,
from, where I record my
I'll make a decision
podcasts
soon.
from.
Whatever you do, it'll be the right decision. Congratulations again, Mac.
Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
There he is, Mac.
Oh, look at all the
Celebrini.
hearts.
Elliot,
Thanks,
to you.
guys.
Congratulations,
thank you.
Mike.
Thank
Big
you.
day
thank
for the
you,
Sharks.
thank you,
Jeff
thank
just
you.
asked Macklin Celebrini about
Guys
his
are
future.
awesome.
He said he has to talk to you. What are you going to tell him to do?
Well, thank you.
Greetings from
we're really
Finland,
excited
Ari.
and fortunate to be able to draft Macklin. And
Thanks for joining
we'll have
from
some talks
way
with him.
overseas,
We obviously
my
think
friend.
he's ready to play in the NHL and would love to have him. But those are discussions we'll have with him and his family. But it's a great day for the organization.
Best thing you learned about him in meeting with him?
Just the drive. He's a driven kid, and bringing around growing up in football, and then also just my time playing and being around the league. All the great players are driven and have that type of personality, and he has it.
Thank you, Mike.
All right, thanks for having me.
Kyle?
Elliot, alongside Steve Nash, your Uncle Steve, as Macklin and the kids refer to you as, which speaks to, of course, how highly they think of you. Why was it important for you to
Thanks
be
for
here
all
today?
the likes, guys. Thanks for all the likes.
This little
I appreciate
fellow's
it.
tearing
Jeremy,
my
what's
basement
up?
apart at a
Josh,
young age.
what's
Is now
up?
the number one pick in
Cedric,
the NHL draft. So to watch his journey, to watch
Vic,
the work ethic
Ari,
he develops has been astounding.
B-Dub,
really proud of
Rack,
Mackie and
what's
Aiden,
up?
of course, his older brother, and just
Tom
really close
from
family friends, and couldn't be
Japan.
prouder of the type of
Ooh,
kids
I
they've
think he's
become.
gonna.
So I just
I
want,
think
I mean,
he's
of
gonna
course,
be
you
the
worked with
guy
so many
from
people over your life
watching
in
the
sports,
stream
Steve.
from the
Like, why
farthest
the Celebrini
location.
family, Rick, of course. Why did you
Greetings
develop
from
such a strong connection to
Czechia.
them?
Okay,
Well, I
Japan,
think the quality of the
Czechia,
person,
Germany.
first and foremost,
No
Rick is an
way.
incredible person, as is
We got
Robin
people
and,
from
and the
long
kids,
ways
but,
on this.
Rick's also a world class.
Go
I mean,
Devils
he's a
from
genius at
Germany.
movement and
All right, Tila.
sports science,
All right.
physical therapy, whatever you want to, however
Germany
you want
well
to name it.
represented,
He had an
eh?
incredible impact on my career, obviously with the
100%.
physical stuff, but most importantly, like just the human touch, the way he's able to kind of understand what people are going through and connect with them is unprecedented for someone to have.
I don't know if you guys
that
know
whole,
this, but
picture of skill. So he had a huge impact
you
on my career.
pay
and now
attention to the
obviously
Toronto
his
Maple
kids are
Leafs a lot.
benefiting from all his,
They have
incredible
this
values and skills
championship
as
belt
well.
that they pass
Steve, great
around
to
to
see
the
you. Thank
player
you.
of the
Good to see you.
game
Thank
after
you.
every win. That was
All right,
designed
incredible stuff there
and
from Steve
created by
Nash,
me.
as well as Mike Greer, and congrats to Macklin
That's the
Celebrini,
prototype
highest
right
drafted
there.
players from BU. It's been a long time since
prototype.
we've seen a #1 player come out of BU. The last one, Rick DiPietro,
Go
back in
Habs,
2000,
go.
of course. Pretty storied franchise
Brampton,
there
Ontario,
for BU with Eichel and
Pennsylvania.
Kachuk, etc. But there
Holy
it is, Macklin
smokes, we got
Celebrini,
some
#1
diversity
to the
going
Sharks,
on right
a
here.
team desperate to really
got
rebuild after
Pennsylvania,
finishing dead last in the National
Berlin,
Hockey League.
Germany,
Next on the clock, the
Japan,
Chicago Blackhawks. All sorts of
Australia.
intrigue here because they're second
Nice.
this year. Last year they were first with
Nice,
Connor Bedard. Are they
nice.
going to get him a running mate, someone up front
Let's
with
go
him? Maybe?
Yeah, it's going
Rangers
to be
from
interesting to see how this plays out.
Switzerland.
But over the last 2 drafts, they've had 5 first-rounders.
I
They've
love this
used 2
hockey
of them on
community, man.
defensemen
You
and
guys are
Korchinski
awesome.
and
You guys
Rinzel,
are all
and
over
they've
the
used
world. That's
3
what I
on
love
forward,
about
so
hockey.
they've got a good balance there. We'll see what goes on. But, man, there are some really good options here
Helenius,
for Kyle
top
Davidson.
10?
You think
Yeah.
about Ivan Demidov,
That's,
and then you think
that's a
about
very high
Artyom Levshunov,
possibility.
who played at Michigan State
Berlin
University. Those
is
2 options,
Flyers
very
country.
good and very
Oh,
clear
Josh,
here
I don't
for the
know,
#2 pick.
Josh.
And Kyle Davidson making his way up
Leamington,
to the podium. This is the first time in
Ontario.
franchise history the Chicago Blackhawks will draft
Let's go
7
Habs.
or second
GTA,
overall. Again, Connor
Ireland.
Bedard, the Rookie of the Year. Let's find out for the
Ireland,
pick for the Hawks.
Japan, Australia. Whoa.
First of all, I'd like to say hello to all of our great fans back at our draft party in Chicago at the Barn. And to make our selection, 2023 first overall pick and 2024 Calder Trophy winner, Connor Bedard.
Connor Bedard's making the pick. Epic. Those pants are way too short. Those pants are way too short. Those pants are way too short.
With the second overall pick in the 2024 NHL Draft, the Chicago Blackhawks are proud to select Artyom Levshunov.
Artyom Levshunov. New Zealand
and there it
in
is,
the
hugs
house.
all around for
Welcome,
the Levshunov
welcome,
family.
welcome.
The Belarusian turning 19 in
Thanks for
October.
all the
So
likes.
back-to-back
I
NCAA
appreciate
players
you
are
guys.
taken out of Michigan State. A big, long, right-handed defenseman, which we know is such a coveted position. We talked about that in the pregame with both of you guys. And, you know, you sort of said it could have gone either way. Why Levshunov?
Well, the right shot defenseman, that's a really difficult thing to acquire, but I think it goes a little deeper than that. And I think about the story of this young man who lost his dad during COVID.
Vegas
and then
Showgirls.
he comes over from Belarus. He's expected to play in the CHL. He doesn't go there. He ends up in Green Bay in the USHL.
What do we think of the Vegas
He finishes
Showgirls?
a
Is
great
this,
year there. He goes to Michigan State, plays for
I know
Adam
it's in
Nightingale.
Vegas, but
His
really,
game
Showgirls?
continues to rise, and yet probably until just recently,
Watching all the way
hadn't
from
been
Scotland.
back
You're
to
welcome,
Belarus,
buddy.
hadn't seen his family.
Don
And to
Gibb.
think that he has fought through all that to have the type of year he had, the personal drive,
Yeah, he's
the
going to have to wait
resiliency
until he
of
gets
this
out of
young
entry
man
level to afford a
definitely
good
played a
tailor,
part
right?
in his going here number 2 to Chicago.
So in terms of a pure skill set, obviously the right shot, 6'2", 205. You know, he loves to go on offense, guys. So on the
Gosh,
puck, off the
are you
puck,
coming
he's
up with
looking to
some
join the rush.
conspiracy
Sammy, you
theories?
and I were at Ann Arbor one night watching Michigan State and Michigan. He pinched down diagonally from the right flank to the left corner the one time. Like he's green
All
light
right.
all the time. That's how he's
Come on,
programmed.
everybody,
His
get-
defensive
who's
awareness
going
has
third overall?
another
Come on.
level to go. People run into
Who's
him,
going
though, DA,
third
and they bounce
overall?
off him.
Come on,
That's
guys.
how big and strong he is.
And Chuck,
Who's
put
going
this into
third
terms
overall?
about
Come on.
why the right-handed defenseman, such a
need
coveted
to know.
position.
They're just more difficult to find. And obviously, when you combine the 6'2" with the right shot defense and the mobility, the ability to defend, the ability to transport the puck. I mean, this organization's clearly starting to go in the right direction. They have 15 top 2-round picks the next 4 years. That's
So,
an insane
my
amount
pick,
of draft capital.
third overall.
Obviously, they have Connor Bedard, they have Korchinski, they have Reichel, and now you add a defenseman like this, a guy with size and really
I'm going to go with
two-way game.
Brings a lot to the
Bium.
table. Trades in the green of Michigan
Bium.
State for the
Bium.
red of the Chicago
Bium.
Blackhawks. And the only top three picks
Trades
for
are going to
Michigan State
happen.
ever. Joe
Oh, I
Murphy,
hear
first in
Laine
86.
is
Craig
going to go
Simpson,
with
our
this
own colleague
draft.
there, second behind
Columbus has been working hard on the
Somebody
Laine
named
trade.
Rod Brindamore might have pulled that jersey on once upon a time.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty good.
All right, let's go
There's
here
a good-
to the
there's
floor
a good
with Elliot
chance
Friedman.
Martin
Elliot.
Kyle, you had
Nikas
options.
can get
What
traded.
settled you on this one?
I think just the total package I already possessed. You know, he can skate, he can push offense, he's physical, he can defend, he can do a little bit of everything, and
Or
we just
on
love the
the
way he
clock
projects and
with the
how he
third
fits in our
overall
system.
pick.
Okay, you've got one more, and there's been lots of action around it. You like to do
Third
things.
overall.
Are you keeping or are you selling?
Bium.
Is selling as in moving it away? We won't. No, we're going to make another pick today, but
That's my pick.
we'll see where it is, if
anyways.
it's ahead of 18 or behind it.
Thanks very much, Kyle.
Thank you.
Dale?
All right, thank you so much. All right, so we have our
Personally,
first defenseman
I
off the
really
board. Maybe
like
we're gonna get a run on
Cayden
defenseman,
Lindstrom.
or maybe Demidov, who's something you guys have said
I'm
is
pretty
that
sure
sort
it's
of
a
elite
left-handed
player
defenseman
shrouded
for
in
the
mystery will be
Anaheim
the
Ducks.
next forward taken.
Well, I think the really interesting part about this, and I do believe that he's the
I don't know, the
second best player
Kadri trade,
available
I
in
think
this
that- I
draft
think
class. Having
that's
said
a
that,
rumor. He's got a
Levshunov has
full
boots on the
no
ground here in
movement
North
clause.
America.
That's gonna be a
Demidov
hard
does
trade to
not.
make.
And maybe that helps sway the decision as well, although Kyle Davidson wasn't going down that road.
No
Hey, I don't
way.
think you can go wrong with
Brady,
Artyom
for
Levshunov
real?
either.
Sennecke?
All right, so Chicago gets their defenseman, and
I don't
again,
know
we're
about
expecting
Sennecke.
possibly for the first time since 2012 to have 5 different
I'm a
defensemen taken
Zeev
in the first 10 picks, which would be
Buium kinda
pretty
guy.
huge to see there. And it also for Belarus, we talked about the Norwegians possibly getting their first overall first-round picks going. Well, this is pretty impressive as well. Those are the other Belarusians taken
Soleil,
in NHL
Andre
history in the
Kostitsyn.
first round, gentlemen.
And
Yeah, this is an elite player. There's no question about it. I mean, that's a nice story. Listen, when we met with him at the Combine,
Tij-
what a
yeah,
humble
man.
young man.
Tij
You know, he told the
Iginla
story about
has
his
to go
father
to
passing.
Calgary. It
He
would be
literally hadn't
epic
seen
for
his
him to
mother in
play
over
in
a year and a
Calgary.
half,
He's a
guys.
good
Like,
kid. He's a
the
good
buy-in
prospect.
from this
He's
individual,
gonna be
it
a
was
heck of a
touching.
hockey
You know,
player.
it was a humbling
It sure
moment.
was.
And, you know, anybody out there who's got children, you know, and obviously I do, I mean, I
We
can't
got
imagine being away from my family as long
951
as that.
people
So,
in the
real humble, elite
watching
athlete.
this stream right
All right,
now.
well, let's get back down to the
let's
floor
see
with Jeff
some
Merrick.
love.
With the second
Let's
overall
see some
pick,
love
Artyom
right
Levshunov
now.
for the
Come
Chicago
on.
Blackhawks. Before we talk, we have a special video
951
for
viewers.
you
Let's go.
from a very famous Belarusian hockey
We got
player. Have a look at the
Australia,
list.
we got Japan, we got Ireland, we got Scotland, we got Pennsylvania, Congratulations
for incredible
You got
achievement.
Everyone represented. We got Germany. Come on.
Thank you. What did he say at the end?
Mikhail Grabovsky, one of my favorites.
First of all, congratulations. Congratulations on this one. Great tribute there from Mikhail Grabovsky as well. Did you know, by the way, they were going to take you second overall?
I was thinking about, but yeah, it happened now, and now it's more real.
Got to go to the podium for the Ducks pick.
Yep. Thanks for all the likes, guys. Thanks for all the likes.
We would like to dedicate our draft 2024 to Glenn Cochran and his family. Glenn fought his battle with cancer courageously. We will miss his character, his humor, and positive attitude. Glenn was an integral part of our
Anaheim is
scouting
pretty
staff,
good with
amateur
defense,
scouting
but you
staff
can
for
never
17
have
years.
top-end
He's one of
defense.
the
You can
finest
never
men
have
I've ever
enough
met,
because
and will be greatly missed. Making
they're
our
high-end
selection
commodities.
is former great and Anaheim Ducks captain Scott Niedermayer.
The Anaheim Ducks are proud to select from the Oshawa Generals, Beckett, Sennecke.
Oh, what a reaction that is. Similar to mine.
What a moment for the Sennecke family. His father, Yuri, his mom, Candace, and his sister, Piper. And that look did say it all. Absolute shock and awe. And the tears are about to start flowing.
Wow, they picked Sennecke for
real? A
real?
fantastic family and a fantastic season in the OHL playoffs specifically that maybe elevated him to third overall.
Oh, there's no question about it. But you go back to the start of the year, and I thought, you know what, this guy's a first rounder. He's probably into the late 20s. He will be in the first round. And as the year started to go on,
How do you
he's
go
growing
off
a
the
bit.
board
His
at
hands are
number
really
3?
good. He's putting up points. And then you get to the playoffs. You talked about his
Beckett,
performance there,
Sennecke.
but then he got hurt. Out of the playoffs for the final against the London Knights, Oshawa didn't stand a chance without him. And oddly
Columbus
enough,
has a lot of
it's one of
options
those
at
rare
number
occasions
4
where a
right
player's
now,
not
man.
in the lineup when you realize his
That's
value.
too many
And I
options
think
for
probably
Columbus. They got
Rose,
Buium,
helped
they got
to
Cayden,
rise his draft
Lindstrom,
stock. Here we are at number
Demidov.
3. Now, guys, I thought that we got into this
Man,
thing and figured maybe 10
who's gonna
or
go
11
fourth?
for Sennecke. 3, that's a little bit of a shocker for me. But to think that where he went from the mid to late 20s to go into that 10 range and above here at number 3, wow, it's a bit of a shocker, no question, but I think deserve it.
Well, I think that Anaheim, Pat Verbeek, the little ball of hate when he played, he's going to love this style of player, right? At 182 pounds right now, as you know, DA, because you've known the family for a long time, this is a big athletic family.
Yeah.
This kid's going to be
I don't know,
210,
man.
215
Cayden Lindstrom,
potentially. I
if
don't
they're
think
not
he's
going to
stopped
pick a
growing
defense,
yet.
why
The one
wouldn't
thing
they
that's
pick
unique
Cayden
about him,
Lindstrom?
he can
He's
play a
so
power game
good.
with
He's a
finesse
big
game.
center.
At 6'3"
Very
almost,
talented.
guys, he makes
Sennecke.
plays in tight to his body like he's 5'10". So his range to pull pucks back in towards his body, it's an exceptional little skill that he has here. Little zag, bar down. Here's one off the rush. So as he gets stronger, you're going to see more and more of this. He's going to be getting to space a little bit quicker. He's going to be more elusive. One thing towards the back half of the season especially, that's what I'm talking about, those small area plays for a long body. Towards the back half of the season, bumper on the power plate, no problem. Work it off the half wall, same thing.
Yeah.
He's durable that
I'm
way.
pretty
He
sure
looked shocked there, and I
Columbus is going to go
Did the
with
GM
defense
sometimes
on this
surprise
one.
me? They must have had a lot of conversations to get to that point.
They must have, but the look on his face tells me he had no idea, obviously. And his parents, I mean, it was just genuine shock. And
they're still shocked.
But what a great moment.
Yeah.
But you just
Yeah,
look at the
Demidov can
big
go
forwards they're building there with McTavish,
number
with
5
Cutter
now.
Gauthier, and with Leo Carlson. This is going to be in a pretty impressive group.
All right, the OHL is on the board with Beckett, Sennecke standing by with Jeff Merrick. Jeff.
Dave, thanks so much. Just watching your parents there, Beckett, crying as they're so surprised. I want to get to your
Man, these
reaction when you were
parents
picked.
that
But what do you
put
say?
so
You
much
look at
into
your
their
parents
kids
right now.
to see that
Yeah,
to
I
be
mean, it's
there for
obviously
this
super
moment to
emotional,
enjoy
but I
with
mean,
them.
I don't think
That's a
I
crazy
expected
moment
that.
as
I
a
think
parent. I could only
my agent
imagine
a
what
little
it's like.
more than I did, and he didn't kind of tell me, but obviously I'm super happy to be a part of this organization.
Well, listen, your story is one of growth from the beginning of this season to right now, drafted 3rd overall by the Anaheim Ducks. What do you think put you over? What do you think that you did that got you to this spot right now?
I think it was probably definitely my playoff performance. I mean, I kind of peaked at the right time there, and I mean, our entire team did as a whole, and we kind of pushed against me. Obviously, couldn't get past London Knights there, but yeah, I think my playoff.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Columbus is going to go with defense. They need defense. Columbus needs a defensive prospect they can go with.
I was just super shocked. I think obviously my face kind of said that all, but that was
so I originally in my mock draft had Demidov going to Montreal at number 5 anyways. This pick of Sennecke doesn't change that for me.
It takes a family, the sacrifices, the discipline, and the high riser and late riser. You alluded to this, Sam. I mean, look at the numbers he put up in the last 29 games. Prolific numbers. We see the hands, we see the skill, and obviously they see the potential here in Beckett Sennecke.
Well, of course, Anaheim, you know, Pat Verbeek, he likes size. You talked about it,
Beckett
JB.
is a little bit
and there
of
were a couple
reach.
of different
It's not
options.
a huge
We saw some
reach,
defensemen. We
but
had
it's
heard
a
maybe
little bit of
Buium
a
was going to go there. We know about Demidov, but here is a
Listen,
selection.
if this thing goes down,
with plenty of
just
growth potential. I mean, you could pack
keep
15,
an eye on
20
my
pounds
YouTube
on that
account,
frame,
and
no
then
problem.
we'll
And I
pop
don't think
something
he's
else
topped
up.
out in terms of his height either. 6'3" he was measured at.
His dad's, I think, 6'5".
If you look up CML domain on Twitter,
He's still going, so this is going to be huge
on
for them
Facebook,
down the road. And
we'll do Facebook Live
team is
next.
slowly, methodically
If this
building.
stream
All
goes
well,
down,
Anaheim, they also have the
Facebook
31st
Live
pick,
next.
so they're not done here. Pat Verbeek getting his man, his big winger there. And on the clock now, the Columbus Blue Jackets. And there's a lot of speculation, Chuck, that maybe they're going to move this pick. They're on the clock, though. We're down to about 15 seconds. I imagine they're going to go with this pick.
I would assume so at this point. And, you know, this will be the first draft for Don Waddell. He's going to have an opportunity here to put his, put a stamp on his team right away. So it's going to be exciting to see.
All right, well, listen, we build this as all these defense we're going to go. We've only had one in the top 3, so we'll have to see because, again, there's so much talent and so much intrigue coming here. But we do have the Columbus Blue Jackets set to make their pick. And, again, they've missed the playoffs the last 4 years. They're in desperate need, Jason, of some talent.
Yeah, they are. They need to start to
I
build a
don't
culture
have a
there where, you know, when you go to play the
guys.
Columbus Blue Jackets, you know what you're getting. And more importantly, just internally, you know, like, what's it mean to be a Blue Jacket? Like, how are we going to play? Are we going to be big and burly, skilled? You know, like, what are we exactly? So this could be
They
a
ain't
pick that
gonna
starts
stop
to springboard
us.
that
They can't
with
shut
Don
us
Waddell.
down.
And here
We'll
comes
pop
Don
up
Waddell, hired May
from
28th, ready to
where?
make his first pick
We're
as the
watching
GM
the
of
draft tonight.
Columbus.
Who's with me?
On behalf of the Columbus Blue Jackets, we want to welcome our great fans, fifth line back in Pins Mechanical, enjoying the draft tonight with our first overall pick, the only Columbus Blue Jacket player that's had his number retired, first round pick in the 2002 entry-level draft, Mr. Rick Nash.
Levshunov was pick number 2.
With the 4th overall selection, the Columbus Blue Jackets are proud to select from the Medicine Hat Tigers, Cayden Lindstrom.
Cayden Lindstrom. I like this kid. That's a good pick right there. That's a good pick.
What a beautiful and emotional moment there for Tricia Lindstrom and her son, Cayden. He has 3 younger sisters.
Lindstrom.
Lots of love in that family. And Cayden Lindstrom is the newest member of the Columbus Blue Jackets.
You're
Well,
welcome,
you know,
Ron.
We talked a little bit about it with Levshunov, but I'm big into these personal stories, and it's difficult to see young players go through adversity. This young man grew up without a father, 3 sisters. Hey, mom, sisters, I'm going to take care of you. This is the first step in doing that. He's a driven guy. He plays with some meanness and a chip on his shoulder in his game, but I love the fact that he's been here. He's been taking it in. He's had a smile on his face. He was really confident that he was going to do big things here at this draft. And as I expected, he goes 4th overall here to Columbus.
You know, he was limited, obviously, this year, guys, with injury, right? 32 games played,
Telling you,
27
man, I told
goals,
you guys this
19
from
assists. I'm going to be
top
curious
5
to
is
see if
going
he's
to
a
be
centerman or a
rocky.
winger in the National Hockey League.
Everybody
Similar to
had
when the LA
all
Kings
these mock
selected
drafts.
Quentin Byfield a few years ago. He played
Nobody
the
knew
middle
what
for
was
the
going to
Sudbury
happen in the
Wolves
top
most
5.
of the time.
No way anybody
This
knew
is a
what was going
shooter.
to happen.
And for
in the
me,
top
guys who play the middle of the ice like to share the puck on the flanks a little bit more, not necessarily have a shoot-first mentality. So it'll be interesting to see how he fits. But listen, I'm pulling for this kid, right? Like, who isn't? This is a great story.
The CHL Top Prospect Award winner has a new home, looking good there in the Columbus Blue Jackets outfit. How much do you factor that in, Chuck, when a player has been showing excellent numbers but didn't make it through a full season? How much does that weigh in?
Well, it's always a big concern, particularly with the herniated
There's
disc
nothing
in his
wrong with
back,
earrings.
which is allegedly what it is. You have to have your medical people go through it, your doctor. You have to speak with the
Guys,
kid.
we have
It's a little bit of a leap of faith, but
1.9K
obviously you
viewers right now.
look at the skill set here. You look at the overall package. It's very impressive, and Columbus obviously feels very comfortable.
I don't know how high the
medical
number's going to go, but that's impressive. And I love the fact that you're all here. We're all watching together. The passion is real. And we got a whole world represented on this chat right now. We got
we're not going to see a lot
from
here
Europe
in these
to
clips because
Germany
this
to
is an elite
Scotland to
release.
Ireland
This is
to
what he does
Australia
exceptionally well.
to
He's got a mean streak too.
Japan.
Like if
We
you,
got
if you
everybody.
cross his
We
hairs,
got
like he's going to run
everybody.
over you. So I like that about him as well.
27 goals in the 32 games he played, and then he came back for the playoffs. It was a hand injury that had him originally out. He came back for the playoffs. He wasn't himself. He played 4 or 5 games. He put up a couple of points, but Willie Desjardins says you have to understand there is a hidden playmaking and creativity to his game, and maybe that's why there's some of the projections to see him at center, which is where he played
I've
for the
always
Medicine Hat Tigers most of the year.
said the Habs
6
are going to take
WHL players taken in the first
Demidov.
round last year. We have our first one off the board in Cayden Lindstrom, who's standing by with our Jeff Merrick.
Cayden, first of all, congratulations. Second, Kyle Bukauskas was talking to your mom a couple of moments ago. She talked about what that hug was going to be like. What was it like for you to hug your mom after getting drafted?
It was really emotional, to be honest.
We got a Jets fan
I
in
wanted to
here.
hug her for as
Welcome,
long as I
welcome.
could. I didn't know how much time I had, but I
Everyone's
wanted to hug her
welcome
and my
here.
grandma for as long as I could. Cause
I'm a huge Leafs
just the
fan,
amount
as
of
you can
support
tell.
and
The chair,
everything they've
the
done
hat,
for me until this
Willie
point
Styles.
has meant a lot to me and them.
Everyone is
I know-
welcome here.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have your jacket on right now, but I know that on the sleeve you have the initials FTF.
Yeah.
Tell us what that means.
Yeah, so on FTF, I write it basically everywhere on my equipment. I write it on my stick before every game. I had it inside my suit. I also had my grandparents and my mom's name inside my suit. And
what does it mean?
It means for the fam, for the family. Yeah.
For the fam, their son, their brother is a Columbus Blue Jacket, 4th overall. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
David.
Let's go
All right,
Blues.
congrats to Cayden Lindstrom, and again, the last
Is it
5
legal?
CHL top draft
No,
prospects.
it's not
Remember last year,
legal.
Connor
But
Bedard going
who
first
cares,
overall.
man?
Very
We're
impressive
here
group
enjoying
that
this
Lindstrom
together.
joins. And next up
What
on
does
the
it
clock,
matter
we have
if
the
it's
Montreal
allowed or not
Canadiens.
allowed or
And Sam, I'll have you
legal or
hold this
not
mic for
legal?
1 second.
Let's
Okay.
enjoy it while it lasts, huh? What does it
Fanatics
matter?
is going to be the new outfitter for the National Hockey League.
Even Sens fans.
And next on the board, thank
God
you,
love
Sam.
for
Next on the
everybody,
board
man.
are-
We're all
I'm
hockey
not doing
fans.
it
We
justice
want,
here.
we
The
all
Montreal
we want
Canadiens,
is
there
our
it is.
teams
So,
to win
the Montreal Canadiens
and
are
win
next on.
and win
Fanatics is
and
the new
win. And
outfitter
at the
for
end
the
of the
National
day,
Hockey
only
League, and
one
we'll see who
team
looks
can
good
win.
in this Montreal
It is what it
Canadiens
is, man. We
sweater.
cheer
So
for our
with that
teams.
in mind, we've had 3 forwards taken in the first 4 picks. We built this as all these defensemen. They're still there. They're on the board. Who's going to be the next defenseman taken, or will Montreal kind of do their own thing and follow in this suit of taking forwards?
The Montreal Canadiens can't
This
go with a
Montreal
defenseman
pick
here.
is
They are
huge.
stacked defensively and for years to come. And so this is a situation where they're going to look for a forward. They would like some size at the forward position. That would be with a preference for Jeff Gorton on the left
I don't
there.
think he's a
Kent Hughes, the
narc.
general
I think
manager,
it's
on
just
the
some
right.
people are
You
curious
think
and
about
they
their defense
will
score. You've got
always there's
Barron,
always a
you've got
handful of people
Gooley,
in every
you've got
stream that
Harris,
ask, is this
Struble. We
legal?
saw
Is this
Hudson at the
okay?
end of the
What does it
year.
matter,
Logan
man?
Mailloux. And then you
Let's
look
just-
at
let's just
Jarvis
watch and
Jackay.
enjoy.
I mean, goodness, it goes on and on. So there's no possible way they can go with a defenseman here. And I think their preference all along is to try and find some size at the forward position.
Yeah, so for me, I'd be following my list, and I'm going to go out on a limb and just make the assumption that Ivan Demidov has to be the best player available on the list at this point. I mean, for me, he's the best forward after Macklin Celebrini. There's been some surprises. I'm just going by my, my coverage of him over the last year and a bit. So I think it's a forward, Chuck, for sure. It's going to be interesting who it is, but I think the next best guy is Ivan Demidov.
Well, he's a special talent, and it would have been interesting as
The
we were
Blade
speaking about
4,
off the
you're
air a
welcome,
little bit
buddy.
if Chicago would have taken him to pair him.
You're welcome,
with
sister.
Connor
Bedard,
Bedard. But Montreal has obviously some talent up front to some smaller forwards. Slavkovsky
Utah?
took a big step, so it'd be interesting whether they go for some size or they go for some skill.
All right, well, they've had some luck at the number 5 spot. Carey Price, of
Z,
course, as well as
Buium,
Peter
or
Svoboda. Let's hear
Sam
what the Habs
Dickinson.
are doing at number
It will be
5.
Utah's pick.
Bonsoir, Las Vegas. Nous aimerions remercier nos partisans pour leur soutien. To make our 2024 first selection, I'm pleased to invite on stage our #1 fan, the one and only Celine Dion.
Oh my God, Celine Dion for real? Let's make some jokes, Celine Dion jokes. The pick will go on.
How good is this?
Near, far, wherever you are. This pick will go on. It's true, guys. Heat 2026 is amazing. Even though it's 2026 and we're only in 2024, Pete's from the future, guys. Heat 2026 is from the future, guys. Jolie,
Bonsoir à
you
tous.
stop it.
Good
Holy
evening,
moly.
everyone.
You're amazing.
I'm excited. Not even a hockey mom. I'm excited et très fière d'être ici ce soir. With the 5th overall selection in the 2024 NHL Draft, the Montreal Canadiens are proud to select Ivan Demidov.
No brainer at number 5. No brainer at
Habs
number
fans seem to be liking that selection. And give it up for the pageantry
Oh,
of the
yeah.
fanfare of the
Jolie, you
Montreal
stop it
Canadiens.
right now.
They bring in 5-time Grammy winner
You're
Celine
amazing.
Dion to make the selection of Ivan Demidov, who played in the KHL and MHL out in Russia. The Habs fans were embracing. They seem to enjoy it. You called this, Jason. You've been on this guy since November. I remember doing shows with you, and you kept bringing up his name. Why do you love this player so much?
He's an electric talent offensively, but more importantly, well, let me break it down to you this way. If you can't skate at NHL pace, you
didn't
don't
like the
think
way
at
he handed
NHL
his
pace,
jacket
and you're
off
not
to that.
relentless enough,
Go
none
for
of
it.
your skill set matters, because that's a hard game that we play at the NHL level. He's a bulldog with elite skill. The Montreal Canadiens, with everything they have coming on the horizon, have a star on their hands here. I'm talking about a top-line forward who's going to push the pace. He's going to play hard. He's going to be a big game player in big games. This is outstanding for Montreal.
And 1 year left in the KHL, so he won't be making his North American debut this year, but the future very bright here.
For sure, and they can afford to kick this one down the road just a little bit. You see the fist pumps there, but I think about Demidov and think about, the Montreal Canadiens, the fluidity we talked about off the top of this draft. They were sitting there, they were waiting, maybe they were going to move the pick, and then they show up and they're like, Demidov? He's here? Are you kidding? We're taking this pick like the Steve Miller Band, and we're going to run with it all day, all night. This guy is the second most gifted player that this draft class has to offer, and we're going to show you a little sampling of why that is the case. All right, here we go. I'll just take it off the wall. No problem. Boom. Low glove side. Oh, yeah, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. How about this? I'm just going to go Bobby Orr-like. End to end. I'll collect it with my reach. A little deception here. Thank you very much. Through neutral ice. Oh, that gap's huge.
Wow.
Why? Because he's flying, baby. That's why. And puts it into the back of the net. A little bit more finesse. Little sauce. Whoop, whoop. Through the legs. Thank you very much. To the backhand. And in it goes. He's got all kinds of talent, this young man. And yes, there are some detractors who say it was against MHL play. Only got a few games in the KHL.
Leafs pick
but
at
scout him in a vacuum.
23.
That's what you get.
And Chuck, I want to ask you, listen, there was a
currently
it was a little shrouded in mystery how good this player was going to be or is, because, it's not like in North America where you have readily available eyes on him all the time. How tough is that as a GM, as a scout, when, he's tucked away in Russia and maybe just not knowing as well as you'd like?
It's really difficult when you don't get those first-hand viewings. You can rely on video, but you want to be able to see him play. And as Sam said, play even against better competition than what he did this year. But I think the fact that his agent, Dan Milstein, had a camp last week and brought him over and he worked out in front of all the scouts. They found out he was 192 pounds instead of 175 or whatever the number was out there. And that, that put a little bit more comfort level, I'm sure, for a lot of the teams. And I'm sure Montreal's very happy he filled him at number 5.
Yeah, I'm very comfortable with this contract situation, guys. One more year. In the KHL, something that people might not be aware of, Scott has to dress 2 players under the age of 20.
Hold on.
Rottenberg, the head coach there, is in love with
get
this player, but they also understand what his dream is, which is to come over here.
Yes or no?
This is a little bit of a different situation than normal with the Russian
Utah
prospect.
Hockey
I'm
Club.
comfortable with
Is
this.
that a good
I'm looking
name or
forward
not?
to his North
I
American
actually
arrival.
really like
We just
Utah's.
saw it with Matvei Michkov. I mean, we thought that he was going to be there for a long time. It looks like he's going to make his way to North America with the Flyers here. The 2 points per game for Demidov. I mean, look at the company that he's in there. The next guy on the list, pretty good.
Yeah, half point more per game than Nikita Kucherov, who was an NHL MVP just a few years ago and was a finalist for the Hart Trophy this year. So incredible company he's keeping as far as the dominance he's shown on the other side of the Atlantic. And it's worth noting, Montreal's not done, folks. They moved up from 26 to 21 in a trade that happened earlier today. So they have a pick in 16 picks to add to that stockpile of picks that they have coming their way and prospects they have coming their way. So Montreal gets their guy in Demidov, and as you mentioned, slipping potentially in a surprise, getting him at number 5. And we're going to get it down right now. Jeff Merrick's with Demidov.
Dave, thank you very much. Are you a Celine Dion fan?
Yeah, I watched the movie Sennecke, you know.
Yeah, so and you liked it? So that was pretty cool?
Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
That was awesome. You know,
He
one
has
of the big
no
questions
idea
is
who
the
Celine
obvious
Dion
one.
is.
When do you think you'll
Put
join the Montreal
my mortgage payment
I think it's a club
on the
with
fact that he
unbelievable
has no
history,
idea
you
who
know,
Celine
and
Dion
I
is.
pretty like it. Yeah, I'm really happy to be Habs.
Who's better, you or Michkov?
Next question.
I tried, guys.
All right, a historic moment taking place, sir. The Utah Hockey Club, their first ever selection for the franchise, formerly the Arizona Coyotes, who are holding on to their history. So Bill Armstrong's about to head to the stage to make the first ever pick for Utah. And the last first over pick, of course, Seattle, Matty Beniers, and Vegas, of course, had Cody Glass. But now
you're
here
welcome,
we go.
my friend.
Utah. Hockey's coming their way.
Guys,
and their
we
first
got
ever selection from Bill Armstrong, 6th
2,570
overall, and maybe, just maybe, a defenseman, or is this run on forward's going to continue? We'll find out in just a matter of moments.
This is unpredictable with Utah, guys. Like, they're never really, you're never really sure which way they're going to go. So this is interesting.
This is an historic pick since it's the Utah Hockey Club's first pick. On behalf of the NHL, we are delighted to welcome Ashley and Ryan Smith and the state of Utah to the National Hockey League.
The New Jersey Devils have not picked yet.
And by the way, it's Ryan's birthday. Happy birthday, Ryan.
We'd like to give a shout out to all our fans at the Delta Center. We can't express in words how pumped we are to play there in our first
The
game.
fawn from Sweden.
To make our first selection, Ryan and Ashley Smith.
You can't boo us. We haven't even done anything yet. I like it. Let's go. All right. We're super proud. We're honored to be here. We want to welcome everyone to Utah for many, many years to come. We're super proud for the first selection in our franchise's history.
Sam Dickinson.
For 2024 draft, Utah selects
Tij Iginla.
The Utah Bomb.
Another fantastic moment for the Iginla family. Jerome, of course, the Hall of Famer, mom Kara, his brother Joe, his sister Jade, and Tij Iginla, the second WHL player taken so far in the first 6 picks. The run on forwards continues, and Utah has their first ever selection. And it's the son of a Hall of Famer, Tij Iginla. And by the way, he has the bragging rights, guys. Jerome went 11th overall. He goes 6th overall. So there he has it on dad right now,
and
Sam.
Tij is going to let him know. I think the cool part about this, you know, Jerome's working with the Calgary Flames. He could be sitting at the suite or at the table with the Flames, but he was adamant on being part of this special moment for his son. He's coached him all the way up through. We've watched him move from Seattle. Now he's plying his trade with the Kelowna Rockets. This is a cool moment for father and son, and obviously the rest of the Iginla family. Really neat to see him going to Utah there. And as you talked about the unpredictability, they could have gone any which way. They choose to go the way to the son of a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, absolutely. DA, I mean, if Utah wants to be a playoff
I'm
franchise
surprised,
going
man.
forward,
D-men
this
are
is
so
the kind of guy you
valuable,
want to
and
build
there
it
are
around.
some
If you
really
look at
good
the high
D-men
leverage
dropping
games
in
at the end
this
of the
draft
season,
right now.
playoffs,
Holy
and Canada
smokes.
at the U18 Worlds that I was at in Finland, 15 goals,
Holy
12 assists in
smokes.
18 games. Quick catch and release. This is Jett Luchanko making a play into the middle of the ice. Boom, it's in the net. Again, off the flank, he gets it, and you know what? He's already got a plan, right, guys? When he's got the puck, he's not taking pause. He's like, I have a plan. I know what I want to do
man,
here.
Flames
Little
fans
Peter
are
Forsberg,
super
right?
upset
The
right
reverse
now.
there.
Yes.
Little bit of leverage to create space. Gets it off the flank again. You know, he's obviously an elite shooter. So what a gift, Chuck,
There's
for the
some
franchise
good
in
D-men
Utah.
out there.
What a gift, and he
Guys.
joins Josh Stone,
Really
Shane's son in
Buium.
Utah
Absolutely,
too. So
Damn
pretty
Dickinson.
cool story. But you know, I watched this
Zayne,
franchise a lot last year
Parekh.
in Arizona. They're
That's
building
some good
something
D-men
special. They got a
dropping
ton
in
of
this
draft
draft.
picks
This
coming
is
the
gonna
next
be
couple of
nuts,
years. I think they
man.
got
This
10
is
second
nuts.
round and
Who are
7
the
third
Ottawa
rounds or something
Senators
over the
gonna
next
draft?
3 seasons. So, you know, you already have Dylan Gunther, you have Logan Cooley, you have Josh Stone, Tij Iginla up front. I mean, this franchise is coming.
All right, well, let's get down to the floor again. Tij Iginla, the first and newest member of the Utah Hockey Club, with Jeff Merrick.
David, thanks very much.
Toronto
You
is
got bragging rights on Dad
23rd
now, by the
overall.
way.
Yeah.
That must feel pretty good. You know what? I'm curious. We're going to show some vids here. This is the rink where it all started. This is the rink where it all began for you. Now you just got drafted in the first round, 6th overall to Utah. What goes through your mind when you look at this? Like, what do you think of, Tij?
Yeah, I guess all just the fun memories. I love getting to have a rink. It was something I'm very blessed to have in my houses, and playing around with my brother and sister is super special memories. We play a whole lot of 2-on-2. I'd be with my sister. We'd go against my dad and brother, so we'd have some good games.
What's the biggest lesson your dad taught you?
I don't think it's any one thing. It's hard to just put one thing. You know, so many life lessons, things like that over the years. But I guess a big one would be effort. So, you know, you can make mistakes, but effort's you got to be there.
Congratulations, and get ready for more booze in Vegas. Tij Iginla. Kyle.
1996, Jarome Iginla wins gold medal at the World Junior Championships. 26 years later, he and the family watched his daughter Jade there win U18 gold in Wisconsin. They all got a pick together in the aftermath with the hardware.
Oh, that's a nice
so this
pick.
spring, Tij gets his turn at representing Canada at the U18 Worlds. Jarome was the only
It's a
family
hockey
member over
family
in
for
Finland,
real.
but wanted to keep the tradition going of golden photos by the glass. The Iginla family, a history of bringing home gold for Canada, and now a second generation of Iginla into the National Hockey League, David.
What a family and what a story it is, because this is a high riser, kind of came out of nowhere in a sense because he was given limited opportunities last year in Seattle. Here he is making a name for himself, 6th overall pick.
You know what's
That's
funny?
just played a few games
The
in the playoffs, but then
Utah
goes to the Memorial Cup with Seattle last year, doesn't play. That facilitates
Utah
a trade to
HC
Kelowna.
wins the
And at
Stanley
start of the
Cup.
year,
Are
he's
they
playing
allowed to
center
drink
ice. And
champagne
Chris
out of
Millette, the head
the
coach
cup?
for the Kelowna Rockets, said, hey,
I'm
we're
pretty
going to take
sure
a little bit of heat
alcohol
off
is
you. Why don't
illegal
we
in
move you
Utah?
over to the wing? And from that point on, he really took off. The 47 goals, great work in the playoffs, 8 goals in the first round there. That set a Kelowna Rockets record. Then he goes and puts up the 12 points. So he's hitting all the markers along the way. And at the end of it, he goes from a guy who's probably late first round, maybe
I don't
second,
know about
to
that.
being the 6th overall pick.
Kachucks are
Really
a good
cool
hockey
story.
family,
Awesome
a big
rise.
hockey
Well,
family,
it's an example
but
of
you have
preparation and perseverance. I
the
mean, when you're
Hughes,
prepared and you persevere, good things
Quinn
happen to you.
Hughes,
This kid sticks
Jack
with
Hughes,
it from the puck,
Luke Hughes.
first puck drop right till the end, and from the beginning of the year right till the end of the year, and here he is.
Turns 18 in August, so also one of the younger players here. Unbelievable story, and he joined some pretty elite company as far as fathers and sons drafted in the top 15 all time. And again, at least for the moment, he has the bragging rights on his dad. We'll see what Joe's coming up to. That graphic's going to get bigger with Joe in the next couple of years. But congratulations to the Iginla family as Utah, the hockey club, has their first ever pick. And next on the clock, it is the Ottawa Senators picking 7th. And Steve Staios making his first ever pick as the president of Hockey Ops and GM of the Senators. The pick is in. So let's see what the Ottawa Senators have in mind.
Thank you, Vegas, for a great week of hospitality. I'd like to thank our fans back in the Ottawa-Gatineau community for their great support.
No,
Avec le septième choix de premier
I don't
tour,
want the money, man.
les
How can
sénateurs
I give
sont
it back to
fiers
you?
de sélectionner du the Calgary Hitman of the WHL, Carter
No. Please,
Yakemchuk.
please don't do that. Please don't do that, please.
Well, the run continues for the WHL, and a nice story here for Carter Yakemchuk. Physical presence, a huge shot, a right-handed defenseman. We've been talking about that's been a theme here. And after all these forwards, we finally get another defenseman taken off the docket there by the Ottawa Senators. What do they get in Yakemchuk?
Oh, man, they get a whole lot of everything.
Blitch,
a guy
you're
who
the man.
you said has some bump
Honestly,
to his game, a guy who
don't know
can
what
really
to say,
shoot the
man.
puck. When I watch him play, the thing that amazes
money,
me
guys.
most about this young
just
man,
love.
the way he handles the
Lights.
puck. It is unbelievable.
come
He
on.
looks like a forward the way he handles the puck. His hands are so good. And this is a guy that, we talked to him a couple times, and he just seemed very vanilla in the conversation. Didn't get too excited about anything. And then some words from his assistant coach, Don McGilvery, there in Calgary, and is like, no, you need to know this guy to know just how driven he is. When you get to see him on the day-to-day, you get to see his preparation, you get to see him sticking up for teammates, then you really start to have appreciation for just how dialed
Why is
in he
no
is.
one
And I think
taking
the Ottawa
defensemen?
Senators had to go down that road with their due diligence to really make this selection here when we consider some of the defensemen that are still left, Chuck.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, this is an organizational need as well. You're obviously trying to take the best player available, but in this case, Ottawa clearly has a need for right shot defensemen, and they just got a big guy that can compete and shoot the puck. So they certainly check that box.
When we go to pack here, guys, one of the things that's really fascinating about Carter is certain defensemen who like to go on offense, they only see the ice from the strong side. You know what I mean? Like, they can't make plays backhand
Hold on,
side,
guys. I'll
forehand
be right
side,
back. You
coming
guys
in
keep
off the
watching
rush,
that,
etc.
please.
You're seeing all kinds of highlights here where he's equally comfortable. His vision is excellent. It's rink wide. He's a big body. 5 fights. I mean, for people who still like that kind of thing in the game, this guy, he's going to be the ultimate warrior. So great pickup for them. We talked about it pregame. This could be the disturber. This could be the disturber, and here it is.
And this possibly could be a precursor to something else from Steve Staios, because remember, they do have a whole, Shabbat and Chikrin. They have a bunch of defensemen, Sanderson right now, and now you're adding another one. But let's first head down to the floor, and Jeff Merrick with the latest draft pick.
Carter, thanks so much for this, and congratulations. Did you have any idea it was going to be Ottawa?
Maybe a little bit. I met with them this week, and I thought it went pretty well. And yeah, it was unbelievable to hear my name called.
You're a remarkable defenseman. Ottawa Senators fans are getting a good player. 30 goals, 71 points, a handful of fights, 120 PIMs, log a lot of minutes. Tell Ottawa Senators fans what they're getting in you.
Yeah, I think they're getting a two-way defenseman that can produce offensively and also, be able to play physical and be a reliable defender as well.
They're going to love you in Ottawa. Thanks so much for this. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
David.
All right, that smile says it all. And sorry, there's
You're
a GM who
looking
actually
at
let
the
on.
original.
Hey, we might be taking
First
you, as
one
opposed to
made
some of the
before the
surprises
Leafs
we've
got
had
it.
from the looks on the player's face. He talks about being a two-way defenseman. I mean, my goodness, a 30-goal scorer, gentlemen. It seems like we're having a lot more offense from the blue line, and we're still waiting on, Zayne Parekh, who had that 33 goals to be called out tonight.
Yeah, and, defensemen are so much a part of everything now, and clearly Yakemchuk a big part of what was happening in Calgary for a team that, again, is sort of near the bottom of that junior cycle.
Yeah,
right.
and it carries weight for me, guys. That's a
Spelt was
non-playoff
made
team.
and designed
So,
by
when he's
me.
scoring 30 goals on a
3
non-playoff team,
years
the
before
attention
the
is
Leafs
drawn to
got
him.
it.
He perseveres through that, and those are big numbers.
And for Steve Staios, last year they didn't pick till the 4th round, and now they get a first-round pick, 7th overall, in Carter Yakemchuk. So
And
there it is,
San
another
Jose
defenseman off
drafted
the board. Still
Macklin
plenty of talent
Celebrini.
there. And you guys said there's going to be a lot of intrigue. And now here we're heading towards the next pick with the Seattle team. And they've always drafted a forward. Well, when I say always, 3 years now. So
Samwise
Veneer,
Gamgee.
Shane Wright,
Guys,
and Edouard Chalet last
we
year.
got somebody
is
from-
this the year?
from
Maybe
the
they go
Shire
to a defenseman, or are they just going
on
to keep
the
this run of
chat right
forwards
now.
going?
Well, there's a lot of good ones
Samwise
left. There's no question
Gamgee.
about that. And when it comes
Huge
to the
Montreal
defensemen,
Canadiens
this Seattle
fan. Let's
team, though,
go.
needs to get back to where it was 2 years ago. You saw them play fast. You saw them play quick. They were on
Montreal
the puck
picked
at all
Demidov.
times. 4 lines. I think they got to get moving here a little bit.
Yeah, well, look, this is a franchise that needs more high-end talent. There's no question. I know they haven't taken a defenseman in the first round. They took, I think, Riker Evans in the second round. But look, they need game-breaking talent. They need top-end talent. And there's some players here on the board.
Yeah, I agree with that. And with the coaching change that they've made there in Seattle, I feel like the team might be getting into an era where they're going to play more loose. I don't know if that makes sense to you guys, but they're going to allow the team to play more to their strengths, play to go on offense and not be worried about defending all the time. So we'll see what happens here, but they definitely need to keep scoring goals for sure.
All right, as you see behind us, well, they just changed the graphic. The sphere is hard to keep track of because things are happening so fast. There's a drone flying by. It almost took what little hair I have left on my head. But the four nations, they named the first six for Canada. You guys got a chance to see the first six for Canada?
It's going to be awesome.
No massive surprises. McDavid, Makar, McKinnon, the usual suspects.
Oh, yeah, and same thing for all four countries that are involved in it. It's a high talent event.
All right, well, we look forward to that next February. Some business to take care of here, including Seattle heading to the podium. Matty Beniers and the gang about to make their first pick of this draft.
Oh, look at all those hearts flying
to make
up.
the
Look
selection for the
lights.
Seattle Kraken, I'd like to introduce
appreciate
Matty
it, guys. I really do appreciate it. You have no idea how much I appreciate it.
With the 8th overall pick in the 2024 draft, the Seattle Kraken are proud to select from the Spokane Chiefs, Berkly Catton.
What?
Some great embraces there from his family, his dad, Chris, and his mom, Desiree. And this is the gentleman with the most points of any CHL draft-eligible player.
Berkly
Chuck, you just
Catton,
alluded to the fact that they need some offense. They need to score more. Maybe this is exactly the type of player that they've been coveting with the talent of Berkly Catton.
5'11",
you know, look, Ron Francis has been methodically building this franchise. They have a lot of skill on the wings. They drafted some defensemen. Obviously, Matty Beniers and Shane Wright, but this is a guy that has a chance to be a centerman, has a chance to make plays and score, put up points, and make the teammates around him better. So, I mean, this seems like a very logical pick.
Yeah, elite talent, no doubt about it. Equal parts kind of goal scorer, distributor. He's going to be able to play the middle in the National Hockey League. There's going to be some moments, you know, because of the way that he plays the game. But listen, he was a -36 defensively last year, guys. Plus 15 this year on a team that still wasn't very good. Yeah. So he's made some adjustments, but there's been a lot of growth in his overall game without sacrificing offense, which is a big key when you're scouting young prospects.
You know, you had to wonder here. He was hurt and couldn't play in the under-18s, and you know, he was great at the Helenius Gretzky. He was a captain there, and he went through the year with his 54 goals. And you thought, all right, if he could play in the under-18s, he's going to cement himself as that top 10 guy. And then as we started to see size maybe start to take its position here in the early part of the draft, I had to wonder what was going to happen with Catton. And here he is at the 8th overall pick. But you talk about a guy who can attack with speed and some deception, no problem. I'll extend here and go to the backhand. Then easy entry here, basically 1-on-4, but no problem. I'll flick it through the triangle, I'll get to the forehand and put it upstairs. More work, takes advantage of what gap there is there, cuts it back to the middle of the ice, and finds the back of the net quite easily. I love this young man. His dad, Chris, built him a shooting pad, and he thought, well, this is pretty cool, but I need something to challenge me. So, like, he wasn't shop, he built his own goalie out of wood and put his goalie in the net and fired against his own goalie.
It takes a nation. It takes a family. Sure does. Hey, listen, something about Saskatoon. They just breed hockey players out in Saskatoon, so they'll be celebrating.
Because it's about -40 degrees in January.
Listen, we now have 4 WHL players taken in the top 8 picks. Of course, we had Beckett, Sennecke representing the OHL. It's been a good run for Canadian hockey as well in these first 8 picks. And as you mentioned, some talent going to Seattle. Let's head back down to the floor. Jeff Merrick with the newest member of the Seattle Kraken.
Dave, thanks very much. Okay, Berkly, Sam Cosentino was just talking about this. We talked about this at the Combine as well. Kids have shooting pads and nets, but you took it one step further. Tell us about the shooter tutor you built.
Yeah, so I don't know, like you said, the shooter tutor wasn't really getting the job done, so I built my own goalie there when I was bored one day, and it's worked out pretty well for me. So
Does the goalie have a name?
It's one of my goalies back in Spokane. I named it after him because I always scored him in practice, so I was kind of chirping him about it. It's pretty funny.
I love it. Congratulations. The newest Kraken. Looks great on you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Kyle.
Okay, Jeff, I'm sure you noticed that dynamite pinstripe three-piece suit that Berkly Catton was rocking before throwing on his Seattle Kraken sweater. He had renowned suit designer Jett Bedard of Glorious in Montreal fly into Saskatoon to fit Berkly with the threads for today. You saw the liner customized as well. Set up through his agency. The style and fit, a big part of draft day nowadays for the NHL top picks. And Berkly Catton came locked and loaded to Vegas, Jeff. David.
All right, thank you so much. And there it is. We can tell you Calgary is now on the clock. What have we seen so far? Well, we've seen a number of forwards. I'm counting 5 forwards so far and just a couple of defensemen. And now Calgary. And the storyline a lot of us thought might play out would be Tij Iginla to Calgary. That got spoiled, obviously, with the 6th pick in Utah with Tij Iginla off the board. What's the next best storyline for the Calgary Flames a minute away from their pick?
Well, they're clearly in a rebuild mode. They've acquired a ton of picks. They're moving players out. They got a new building on the horizon here in the next 3 years. And so you have to think that they want to bring an exciting team to the mix, a young team. Some of the players like Kadri and Huberdeau, I mean, looking for those guys to lead and find their way.
Sure,
the Calgary Flames have a number of ways in which they can go here. This is the first time that they've picked in the top 10 in a long time, and you think about their pick at 28.
Yeah, their first top 10 pick since Matthew Tkachuk back in 2016. Now, they've selected at least one player from the WHL the last 21 years. That's dating back to 2002. So clearly they like the eyes they have, the scouting they have out in the WHL, but a lot of the WHL talent, at least top talent, has already been taken off the board. So the Calgary Flames are next up. Jason, anything specific you're looking for with this pick?
Well, you know, keeping the momentum of where they're at. I'm going to piggyback on what you were saying, Sammy, and that is that, you know, you're going to start to look at your depth chart now. You definitely want to draft the best available player on your list, but you also have to look at expiring, like where we're going to be in 3 years. So who's arriving on at certain points in time? College player, European, CHL player. Who's going to be expiring? Like, is Rasmus Anderson going to be there still? You know, it's going to be interesting to see what happens here because they can go in a bunch of different directions.
Let's find out. Craig Conroy and the Flames taking the podium. The pick is in.
First, I want to thank all the fans, our season ticket members back in Calgary at the original 16 draft party. And the Calgary Flames are proud to select at number 9 from the Memorial Cup champs, Saginaw Spirit, Zayne Parekh.
Zayne Parekh.
Zayne Parekh with big hugs for his dad Azim, his mom Mona. Set the record for goals by a 17-year-old D-man in the OHL. This guy is absolutely electric. Calgary has to be excited about the prospect of this guy going end to end to end to end.
Who thinks we can get to 5K?
Box office, that's what I'm going to call him, because I would pay for a ticket to see this guy play. He is that exciting. And when you consider all the players in this draft class, and we've talked about Celebrini and we look at Demidov, this guy might be the most dynamic of the entire group because he's all over the map. He has the puck. You have no idea what he's going to do with it. He plays the game like he's in a rocking chair. Everything's so easy, so cool, so much poise to his game. And then he goes to pass the puck and he zips it like a pro. It's on your tape. He goes and you think he's just gliding up the ice. 2 steps, he's got deception. He beats you, burns you, takes it to the middle of the ice, and has all kinds of opportunities on whether to distribute it or shoot it. And maybe most importantly, and what we've seen a lot here, I think about Evan Bouchard, his ability to shoot the puck, find lanes to get it through because he's using his feet to open up those lanes is unlike any other defenseman I have seen in 25 years covering the CHL.
And Chuck, here we go again. Right-handed defenseman. I mean, there's some exceptional left-handed defensemen still on the board, but something about that right-handed defenseman.
The first 3 defensemen off the board are all right-shot defensemen. So it says something. Again, it's a hard commodity to find, and you know, again, Calgary's a team that kind of turning over a lot of their talent right now, and they need talent everywhere. But clearly, this is a young guy that can help them.
This kid is a huge personality. Huge personality. He lights up a room. The one thing I might take away from the combine with Zayne was that he looked us in the eyes and says, listen, whoever's going to select me has to understand what they're getting. I play the game a certain way. I play the game. So I don't know that he can adjust so much as the coach and the people around him are going to have to adjust the way that he plays the game. Maybe that's a new breed of what we might see on the horizon. I don't know. Pretty bold, but I kind of like it.
All right, we're going to get you right back down there. 7th Canadian in the first 9 picks. By the way, we had 12, Jeff, in the first round last year, so it's a nice run for Canada so far.
And this may be, with all due respect to the others, the most skilled of all those players you're talking about. Zayne, you know, we're just watching your highlights and watching what you do, and I think we're all wondering the same thing. Do you think you can do all of that in the NHL?
It's a great question. I mean, I believe in the way I play, obviously, you know, I think it's a translatable game. I'm not going through guys. I'm getting to open ice, gaining out of ice, and using give and goes to open up space for me.
This has been a tremendous season for you. Congratulations on the Memorial Cup win with Saginaw. What an exciting game, and now a first-round draft pick. What goes through your mind this year? I mean, this is a tremendous year for you.
Yeah, a lot. Like a lot of my play, a lot to deal with. I mean, you know, focused on the Memorial Cup and trying to win that, and I'm so glad we did, because, you know, I don't know how I'd feel right now if we didn't, but it's been a whirlwind, honestly, and I'm glad we're here now.
I love the fact that as soon as you say Memorial Cup, you start smiling, and it's well-earned and well-deserved.
Thank you.
Kyle.
Hey, Jeff, alongside Azim Parekh, Zayne's father. So, man, your family history, your wife's family history touched so many different parts of the world before ending up in Canada. And Hockey Night in Canada, of course, was the common denominator in learning about the country. So now your son joining the NHL, what do you think?
I just want to, first of all, congratulate all the prospects that are here. And, you know, I think they should all be proud of their accomplishments. As for us, it's just an honor. And we're just grateful for the opportunity. And, you know, Zayne was lucky enough to just be lucky.
So at the Combine, your son was the only one that can complete a Rubik's Cube in rather short order. So it begs the question, where does he get his smarts from?
Well, his buddy from the team had brought in a Rubik's Cube into the room, and they all started to work away at it. But he definitely gets his intelligence from his mother. That's for sure.
Good answer, Azim. Congratulations. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
David.
That is definitely the right answer, and it's always the right answer. So Zayne Parekh, by the way, Calgary, the last time they took 9th overall was Dion Phaneuf in 2003, played 1,000-plus NHL games. So they're hoping maybe to hit the jackpot once again here with Zayne Parekh. So that's 9 picks in the books. Next up are the New Jersey Devils, and they're winding down to the time for them to pick. Last week they traded for Jacob Markstrom, so this is interesting. This is not like Calgary, a team maybe rebuilding, a team that has their sights set on big things in the playoffs.
Yeah, because you go back to 2 years ago, and I remember the first 2 games of their series against the Rangers, outscored 10-2 in those first 2 games. They came back, they won that series in 7. You thought big things were on the horizon. Then they go back last year, have a lot of difficulty getting saves. They addressed the goaltending situation, and now they have an opportunity to add to their prospect base.
New Jersey Devils would like to dedicate today's draft to longtime scout Dirk Graham and his family. Dirk spent 30 years with the organization before passing away in April. I'd like to give a shout out to all our great fans back in Jersey at the Social Base Club. With this pick, I'd like to introduce Hockey Hall of Famer Martin Brodeur.
The New Jersey Devils are proud to select from Torpedo Anton Silayev.
Anton Silayev.
So there is our first left-handed defenseman, Silayev, an absolute giant, right? 6'7". The book on him, they say, well, maybe he can become the next Zdeno Chara. He certainly has the size, the frame to become that man. And if he does, for the New Jersey Devils, they have hit the absolute jackpot here.
We're looking at a combination of Zdeno Chara, but Jay Bouwmeester feet. Like, this is a unicorn.
Boots.
This guy is a giant, but his ability to get up ice, track back, on the penalty kill, I'll give you an example. When he works up the hash marks, it's not just his length, guys. Like, he can pressure, and his agility gets him back to defend the crease exceptionally quick. Like, this guy is going to be a huge, huge building block, another building block on the back end for the New Jersey Devils, Chuck.
Yeah, and Tom Fitzgerald's, hasn't been shy about saying they want to get bigger. This is a franchise that thought they had aspirations on competing for Stanley Cup last year. The goaltending and defense fell apart. this is almost a bonus pick for them at number 10 because they're going to bounce right back to the top here next year, in my opinion. But Silayev is a big guy. He'll complement Nemec and Luke Hughes and some of the other young talent they have in the organization.
Yeah, you look at the forwards up front, you talk about Heischer and Mercer and Hughes, all kind of smallish types. So if you can get some trees in the back end to help insulate them, that's what you're going to do. The interesting part about this player is that he had 6 points in his first 6 games. He saw some power play time. They thought there might be some offense there, but he's more of a defensive defenseman.
All right, well, our top 10 picks are in. Pick 11, we're going to hear from San Jose. Already got Celebrini. What are they going to add to Celebrini? We will find out next. You're watching.
History, the Florida Panthers are Stanley Cup champions.
Hey, it's your gut instinct. Always one step ahead. I know what's up and who's up. So next time the game's on and it feels game-changing, bet your way with Betway.
Get 2 pairs of glasses for only $99 in the Specsavers summer sale.
Focus on your breathing.
Was just
Imagine finding your zen at home with proprietary decking and railing products from Decorators.
Welcome back to the Sphere. Let's have a look at how some of the night is going for some of the top prospects presented by Upper Deck. You got to collect the best. It's been a great night for Macklin Celebrini. This smile says it all. The San Jose Sharks are smiling as well. It's been a nice run for many of the top prospects finding their NHL homes finally. So grow your trading card collection with Upper Deck E-Pack anywhere, anytime. Upper Deck Series 2 is available now to purchase or scan to download the free promotional set at upperdeckepack.com. Those look good. It's got to be every kid's dream. Have his own hockey card.
I got to get one of those.
Yeah, be an NHLer. That's pretty cool. So again, we're 10 picks in now. And again, the run of the show so far has been the Canadian players, 7 of them, led by the 2 off the hop in Celebrini and Sennecke. And is that the big surprise there? Beckett, Sennecke at 3?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I thought 10. I thought he'd get into that range, 12 to 10, maybe even 9. But to go at number 3, he was shocked. His family was shocked, and so was I.
And the San Jose Sharks are getting set to make a second appearance. Again, 2 top 11 picks for them for a team that's missed the playoffs for the 5 straight years. That's their longest stretch in franchise history. Macklin Celebrini gets all the fanfare, but this is a significant pick as well at number 11. Let's see what they do.
The San Jose Sharks are proud to select from the London Knights of the OHL, Sam Dickinson.
A great moment for the Dickinson family. Mom Megan, Dad Steve, brother Jack, sister Kennedy. A great family. I've kept an eye on this player for some time. My son Harrison actually played with him way back when they were 10 years of age. He started out as a goalie, guys, as a 9-year-old. He just was playing for fun. So we're talking a pretty late start compared to some of the other guys who started out as 2- and 3-year-olds. But here he is, Sam Dickinson, 11th overall, a Memorial Cup runner-up, and a big, big, heavy left-handed defenseman.
Wow, you have to love it. This guy skates like he's a figure skater. It is absolutely beautiful. His stride is long. It's powerful. He's so deceptive because he's so smooth with his skating ability. And I remember watching him with the Toronto Marlies in the under-16 loop. He was a men amongst boys at that time. He gets drafted by the Niagara Ice Dogs, and right away Mark Hunter identifies this player and says, I need to go and get this guy. He trades 7 picks away to the Niagara Ice Dogs to bring this guy into the fold, including some high picks, a couple of second rounders, and they have not looked back since. As a 16-year-old, midway through the year, they're like, oh, wait, this guy's pretty good. He's going to play in overtime 3-on-3. He's going to penalty kill for us. He's going to play in the power play. And then this year, 70 points. Awesome stuff.
So what you're saying is Mark Hunter's a pretty good general manager at the Ontario Hockey League level?
He's done a pretty good job.
Yeah, pretty good. Hey, this is a big body, obviously, two-way deep. Transitional element, yes, not all the time. He can manage the puck from the middle of the ice on the power play, distributor, or one-time it. He can shoot it a ton. I mentioned to people before, I was at a golf event, and Dale Hunter was telling me how hard this guy shoots the puck. Only second to Evan Bouchard in terms of what he's coached in the past, and that says something. Dennis Weidman back in the day used to rip pucks as well. Off the rush, though, he'll take it to the middle.
Pick,
he sees the ice exceptionally
I'm
well.
surprised that he fell this low in the draft.
Defensively, guys, there is room for more bite, and that will come, okay? He plays a ton of minutes in London. I'm talking 30-plus, so he kind of paces himself at times. As he matures a little bit more, Chuck, you know it's going to get a little more difficult. 20 minutes will be more,
available.
Right?
Yeah.
Hold that thought. We're just going to hear from Sam Dickinson, who's standing by with Jeff Merrick. We'll get your thought in one sec, Chuck.
Sam, David was just talking about when you started out, you were a goaltender, so in a pinch, maybe the San Jose Sharks have an e-bug as well?
Yeah, if they need it, maybe I can jump in there, however I can help.
Now, have a look here. Now, you don't look very happy to be a goaltender there. How happy were you to get out of the pads?
I think after that year, I told my dad and everybody on that team that I'd never put on a pair of pads again, and I've stuck true to it today.
And it paid off. You're a first-round draft pick of the San Jose Sharks. You've been compared to Evan Bouchard a lot. Do you think that's accurate?
Yeah, I mean, you can never complain with being compared to a guy like that, especially a guy from London as well. Yep. Just a guy who, took his team on a long run in the playoffs, and I think that's something that, I'd be really grateful if, I could end up being a player like that.
From green to teal, you look good, Sam.
Thank you.
David.
All right, well said. And he had a nice run to the Memorial Cup final with his London Knights team. You were finishing a thought there, Chuck. Sorry.
Yeah, this is just a very logical pick for Mike Greer. I mean, this is a prospect group that's very forward heavy, from Will Smith to obviously Celebrini, Edstrom, Eklund, and add a big mobile guy like this. They get 2 more firsts next year. Again, it's better days ahead in San Jose. We mentioned that earlier, but this is quite a first round for him.
And the run on defensemen has officially started. That's back-to-back-to-back. 3 defensemen taken in the last 3 picks and 5 defensemen in the first 11. We said 5 in the first 10. We were close, so it's 5 and 11. Does that trend continue? So San Jose, by the way, exceptional job for Mike Greer, building something, a nice foundation there. Celebrini and now Dickinson. Next pickup is Philly, your former team, Chuck. And again, listen, there's a lot of talent at 12. We've seen players like Marian Hossa, Gary Roberts, Mark Stahl taken with that 12th overall pick.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a prime position for the Flyers. They're clearly trying to rebuild. They're trying to add more young assets to the organization. They got a couple good forwards staring at them, and they also have a guy, Zayne Buium, sitting right there too, a very highly touted defenseman if they want to go that route.
Yeah, there could be a guy waiting in the wings here. Guys, Jett Luchanko even, who's kind of Claude Giroux-like when Claude was coming into the league way back when. So he's a riser to keep an eye on here. But curious, Chuck, because they are on the rise. Like, they've got a culture that they're building there again, and it's going to be interesting to see, do we go with the burly puck mover, or do we want more offense, a safer offensive guy?
All right, let's head back to the floor. Elliot Friedman a couple of moments ago with Steve Staios.
Steve, you had a lot of options there at 7th overall. What set you on Carter?
Well, I mean, 6'3" defenseman who not only brings offense, but he's got some grit to his game, and we still feel that there's a lot of rawness to him as well. So we feel like the potential is really, really high for Carter. Great character kid.
Did you think about moving around at all? How seriously?
Oh yeah. We looked at all options to try and you look at anytime you have an opportunity like that at that pick to move back. But we're in the top 10, and these types of players are hard to find.
Thanks very much, Steve.
All right, thanks.
All right, something could be brewing here. The time is up. Daniel Briere, the GM of the Flyers, is yet to make his way to the podium. They're on the phone. Now they're just off the phone. And it looks like we could have some movement, gentlemen.
Now we're talking. We didn't see any
Got a trade coming. There's a trade.
First round of last year's draft. We've seen three pre-draft trades with teams moving up. So it'd be nice to have a little action here.
How hard is it on draft day to make a trade? Is it more difficult than during the offseason, let's say?
You typically have these set up beforehand. Clearly, Philadelphia had a player that went in the top 11 that they were hoping would fall to him, and now there's probably a group of players they like. And but they would have spoken to teams behind him and probably set up some potential deals.
So you have a tier, and once that last player from that tier is taken, you're like,
the
there's no
Toronto
point in us
Maple
picking
Leafs.
12. We might as well pick
Go
20th
Leafs,
or whatever.
go. Let's get a chat going. We got 3,000 people in the views.
And again, you
go,
probably would have
Leafs,
spoken
go.
to teams 4, 5,
Go,
6,
Leafs,
7,
go.
8, 9 spots behind you, and this is the price we'd want to move back, and teams would know that, and that's what's going on right now.
So it'd sort of be set up ahead of time, and they probably wouldn't give you a name, but it would be set up. You'd have this conversation before arriving to the floor?
Yeah, we did this in 2019. Actually, we had the 11th pick. Arizona had the 14th pick, and they said they might want to move up to 11. They said, what would it take? I said it would take, 14 plus a second-round pick. And John Chaika said, well, we need to see if our player's available at 11 before we do it. The player was there, he called, and the deal had already been set up.
And they were probably
Let's keep the
salivating
stream
at the
going,
idea
guys.
that Sam
Come on.
Dickinson might slip to them in 12, and then he gets taken right out from under them, and now they're potentially making a move here.
Yeah, so a couple of things for the viewers at home. When we're at the head of the table and we're looking to make a trade like this, to trade back,
James.
we're still probably
We all in
looking
here
at 3 or
loving
4,
on each other.
maybe
Go
5 names that
Habs.
we have a lot
I'm
of value
happy
in
for you
depending on where
guys.
we're going,
Habs
right,
got
Chuck?
Demidov.
The second thing you're seeing there,
Utah's
a clip
making
out
good
of the
picks.
screen is
We're all
that's
happy
the
for each
NHL
other, man.
registry.
This is
So
the
there's
draft.
a runner going to the registry right now to register a trade,
this is
and
fun
it
time.
has to be approved
Let's
by
all
the
support
league
each other. We're all
ahead
hockey
of time
fans.
before
We're
it's
all
going to
in the
be
same
announced.
hockey
There could
community.
be,
Come on.
picks, there could
Screw
be
the
term
Leafs.
involved with players,
Don't bring that
etc., etc.
negativity in here,
Yeah,
James.
you can't take a timeout to make a trade in the first round. So this trade would have had to been run up the Central Registry prior to the expiration of their clock, and it looks like clearly it has been.
Chris.
But Central Registry has to go
Chris.
through. If it's
Go
players
Leafs,
involved, you got
go.
to check the contracts, make sure the picks are available. So it
David.
does take a little bit of time.
The other element
bringing
to
that
that is the trade
negativity in
value
here.
chart, and it varies
We
for
don't
each
like
team,
the
but that's
negativity.
very heavily analytically based. And so if you're looking at number 12, there is a value
the
assigned
Leafs
to that
need
with
from the
other
Flyers?
picks. And then if you add assets that are playing bodies right now,
Harder
you have
Hart.
to take that into consideration.
Be
But if
nice.
it's a pick-for-pick
Harder Hart,
trade,
let's go,
there
Leafs.
is a trade value chart that
Leafs.
teams refer to.
All right, it looks like a trade is about to be announced. Our first trade during the draft. Again, we didn't have one last year. Philadelphia in the 12th spot. Let's find out what they're going to do. By the way, it's pretty cool to see. I hope this is translating at home. The Sphere
is awesome.
it's just wild to see these massive screens, the LED lights and everything else. It's quite a show here for the 18,000 plus in attendance tonight in what is a historic moment at the Sphere. First
Briere
time
should
sports,
trade his
live
son.
television are taking place in this incredible facility. So Philadelphia Flyers about to make a trade, and we'll find out who's coveting that 12th spot and who they are coveting to grab with that 12th selection.
This chair, man, this
there.
chair I got from
milling
Costco,
about. You have
actually.
to wonder.
It
He's
was a
always,
fluke
in the
find.
mix when things
And
like
it was like
this happen.
$100
Currently,
bucks.
St.
It's
Louis
such a good
picking
chair.
16. We'll see if there's anything cooking there.
All right, well, we have the official trade, and here it is. Subtle, very subtle.
That's sick. That is so sick how they got trade alert with the
As you
puck
can
in the
tell,
net.
we have a trade.
That's sick.
Philadelphia trades pick number 12 in the 2024 NHL Draft to Minnesota in exchange for Minnesota's own first-round pick, number 13, and Minnesota's own third-round pick in 2025. 12 for 13 and a third next year.
All right.
Minnesota, you're on the clock.
All right, so that's interesting. Danny Briere and Bill Guerin essentially flip-flopping picks. They get a third as well, the Philadelphia Flyers do. So someone Minnesota is clearly coveting with this 12th pick they want and need to have.
This is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. So Minnesota clearly were on the back end of probably 3 or 4 names, and they wanted to make a deal here to get one of the names. Philadelphia, conversely, is probably sitting on 2 or 3 names, and they're comfortable making this this trade back to pick up the extra asset
Who
later
did
on.
Minnesota want so bad they had to make this
this, Chuck? I'm
Trade
assuming
to
that
get
they're
this
trying
player.
to gather
Is it
intel as to who
Buium?
might pick what, where, and when, which teams like a particular player. I mean, a trade up for one spot, that is absolutely fascinating to me. There must be some
They
serious
must
intel that's gone on
love
the part
Minnesota.
of both
Must
Minnesota and
absolutely
Philadelphia.
be in love
Minnesota
with
was
this
obviously
player.
worried either Philadelphia was going to take the player they wanted or was going to make a trade with another team to jump up ahead of them and take that player. And clearly it's a player they covet. I mean, a third-round pick in 25 is still a valuable asset.
We're in Vegas. How much bluffing is there? I mean, if you're Briere, oh, we know you love this guy. Guess what? We're going to take him. And they have no intention of doing that. Does that happen?
Well, you love every player. You're willing to move up. You're willing to move back. You're willing to do whatever.
You cannot be trusted, in other words.
No.
Until you're on the clock, and then you're like sitting there sweating bullets. It's like, what are we going to do here?
All right. Well, listen, there's still a lot of talented players there. We've had a run on defensemen, 3 in a row in Parekh, Silayev, and Dickinson. Could be 4 in a row,
Philadelphia's
potentially.
like, who you guys going to pick if you move up?
In that
and they're
direction.
like, Buium.
Conversely,
Like,
there's a lot
great.
of talented
So
forwards
we're
out
gonna
there as
reach
well.
with the
Oh,
next
yeah,
pick.
there's so many options here, but it's just fascinating to me to think that you're moving up one spot. I love that. And like you said, a third-round pick is a very valuable asset. But to move up one spot, hey, Philly, they were going to take our guy. Or like you said, Chuck, maybe they had something cooked with somebody else.
Well, this is the one time that you're in a little bit more control of that type of situation. Like when you're talking trades at the trade deadline, Chuck, there could be 4 or 5 teams in on your same player, right, to acquire an NHL player. This is one of those times you can just move up one. You're involving one guy.
And it's Minnesota's highest selection since Marco Rossi, who they took 9th overall in 2020. Let's hear from the Wild.
The Buium.
This place is pretty cool. Thanks for a great week, Vegas. The Minnesota Wild are proud to select from the University of Denver, Buium.
There it goes. There it is. Buium.
So the run on defensemen
Buium.
continue. A lefty in Buium. And if you haven't heard much about Buium,
Minnesota
you should.
got him.
Highest scoring D-man in the NCAA. All he does is win championships, guys. He wins an NCAA title with Denver. He wins a World Junior title with the US of A. A great kid. And here he is now finding a home with the Minnesota Wild.
This kid landed 4th on my list. I have a scout's crush on him. I'm not going to deny it. He's a winner. He plays exceptionally hard every time his boots hit the ice. You want him to play physical, he's got it. You want him to push the play offensively, I've got that. Defend with purpose, all of the above. Brock Faber and Buium for going forward in Minnesota, what a great tandem.
This is crazy. At 14, he's playing at Shattuck St. Mary's, was forward until then. And then he switched to D, so it's only been a couple of years that he's been at the position. But clearly he has the forward instincts with all the points. He put up 50 of them.
How is his game different than Zayne Parekh? Because you look at the incredible offensive numbers for both Parekh and Buium. How are they different?
Well, this guy is a lot more detailed defensively. I think when it comes to defending, it's equal parts for him in creating offense as well. Yes, he's a converted forward, but at the same point, when I think about Parekh, all I think about is go-go offense. Obviously, something Calgary hasn't had like that from the back end in a long time. But for Minnesota, they get a best of both worlds.
Zeeb is
guy
a
who competes
really,
in
really
defense,
good
who can put
player.
up points as well.
High-end talent, very strong motor.
And we have a
He
lot
can
of
be
defensemen
aggressive. He's
making
got
noise here
this,
in Vegas.
you know,
Pick
he could be
13,
tenacious on the
Philadelphia
ice. That's
is
a great
next.
pick, man. Great pick. Minnesota knows what they're doing. Philadelphia has no clue what they're doing.
NHL Breakaway lets you collect highlights from your favorite players and teams.
Listen, I'm only going to say this about Mitch Marner. Mitch Marner gets a signing bonus on July 1st of like $7 million. And then his salary for this entire upcoming season is $775,000. $775,000. If anybody trades for him, yeah, they get his cap hit of 10.893, whatever it is. But they're in actual money, they're paying Marner $775,000 to score 100 points as a right winger. Why the package is going to be huge.
He's only making history. It's only the beginning.
with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week. That's why we need donors every day.
Woohoo! We're 10 picks away from the Leafs pick. Let's go. Let's
Join us today.
go.
Deadpool and Wolverine.
Leafs fans are the smartest. Don't kid yourself.
Super hard to eat while I'm wearing it. It's super hard to eat when you're not.
This is what I'm talking about. Big slow motion action sequence. Who knows if you live or die? Plus us, a team, shake on it. Ah, you nicked it. Just got the tip with your little steak knife.
We're going to nickname him Hoist. Who is it? Buium. Why? Under 18 title, World Junior title, Denver University title as a national champion. We talked about his ability to defend and compete in that area. Oh, yeah, this guy's a great point producer, using those forward skills to enter the zone. Little stop, give and go. Thank you very much. Great assist there. All right, I'll come in and take this thing off the rush. I'm a defenseman. No, I'm not. I still have all those forward hands. Thank you very much. The 50 points this year, second to Brendan Smith going back to the 09-10 season. Pretty impressive stuff for Buium, whose brother Shai, also an NHL draft pick.
Yeah, this kid's got top pairing D written all over him, fellas. A guy that's going to play north of 22 minutes a night in all situations. And like you said, Sammy,
Marner
he's a gamer. Like, he brings it every shift.
Get traded
half the games
until
in the Frozen Four. Literally, he was playing over 30 minutes tonight. Yeah. Crazy.
Well, this was the run we were anticipating, as now we've had 4 defensemen go in a row. We've had 6 in the top 12. The last time we saw numbers like this was way back in 2012. And again, those coveted right-handed shots as well. Now the lefties are getting their love as well as we move towards pick 13 with Philadelphia. So will Philadelphia continue to work their way down the
July
draft list, or are they going to stick with 13 and run with it?
After all the free agency
Who knows?
business.
They may be maybe on a little run here. Keep calling back and see what you can do. But who knows what they're going to do. But Philadelphia could clearly use a center iceman.
All right, well, let's head back down to Jeff Merrick.
Okay, Steve, when they paused the draft, did you think Minnesota was making a play for you?
I had no idea, to be honest, but I'm so happy they did. I couldn't be happy to be a Wild, and this is the greatest moment of my life.
Your parents are near and dear to your heart. I know your mom made a lot of sacrifices, the San Diego to LA drives over and over and over again. A couple of words about your mom.
She's the best. I mean, she's the true rock star. She holds our family down. She's the biggest reason we're here. So, I mean, we couldn't thank her enough, and she's the best mom in the world.
And a great basketball player in Israel as well.
Is, yeah.
Very athletic family. Thank you very much, Steve. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
David.
I love these family stories. And you do see these great athletes, raising great athletes. It seems to be a trend we see
Leafs
more and
fans
more
are
often.
delusional.
So
Buddy, you're just jealous that you don't have any of the assets the Leafs have and all the money they can throw at it. Wait until Monday on July 1st. The Leafs have $19 million in cap space, and they're going to sign every guy you're in love with. They're going to get David Perron. They're going to get Chris Tanev. They might even get Zadorov. They're probably going to get Stolarz, the backup goalie in Florida. The Leafs are going to completely rebuild their team in 1 year, and they still got 4 guys making it $10 million plus. Jealous of the Leafs. Leafs are going to run roughshod in the NHL this year. Wait until they rebuild their defense in free agency.
We have a special guest to make our selection.
100% Marner's going to get
Proud
traded.
Philly native and Hall of Fame boxing announcer, Michael Buffer.
Michael Buffer, for real?
I love it. Take advantage of it.
Let's get ready to rumble. Yeah, I think 100% the Leafs are going to retain Bertuzzi and Domi.
This year's season, playoffs, and the fantastic 7-game World Championship Stanley Cup Final was a magnificent display of the excitement and talent that is the National Hockey League. Now, it's an honor for me to be a part of this year's draft. And as a born and raised Philadelphian, for me, it is a thrill to announce this next selection for my hometown, Philadelphia Flyers. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Yeah, all right.
With the 13th pick in the first round, the city of brotherly love welcomes the Philadelphia Flyers selection, weighing in officially at 187 pounds, standing
That's
tall
sick.
at 5 feet 11, from the Guelph Storm, he is Jett Luchanko!
Well, that is a moment Jett Luchanko will never forget for many reasons. And what about Michael Buffer? Before we get to Luchanko, 79 years old, incredible. Too young to be president, clearly, but still.
Looks mint.
Doing his unbelievable voice and unbelievable presence there from Michael Buffer. And Jett Luchanko, the newest member of the Philadelphia Flyers, guys. And this has just been a meteoric rise for him. They loved what they saw at the Combine from him, didn't they, Sam?
They loved everything about this guy, and he is a serious guy. He's a confident guy. He can play it any way you want it. He can play up and down your lineup. You can have him out there in the last minute to try and get you a goal or defend against one. And when you go back through the progression of the season, George Burnett, the general manager there, at one point I ran into him and he said, this guy's a lot like Nick Suzuki, which is a really good comparison. But Luchanko hit his marks along the way. Not a million-point guy, but a guy who's just right around that point-per-game mark. I think at the under-18s, though, he really made his mark. Playing in a defensive role, taking key face-offs, working on the penalty kill, distributing the puck. He goes to the Combine, and this guy's buff. You don't realize he's a little bit on the smallish side, but he's buff. And he competed well in all of the events there. And, of course, his interview and that process also played a big part into what we're seeing here right now.
His U18 Worlds in Finland was outstanding. And it wasn't because of the point production. It was because of all the detail that he brings to the game. So, you know, the Suzuki comparison is bang on. Another one that I would throw out there is kind of like an Elias Lindholm type of a player. You know, this is going to be a great value top 6 player for Philadelphia going forward. He plays the game the right way. He plays it hard in all 3 zones, takes key face-offs, kills penalties. He does it all.
This has been a years-long look in Philadelphia for forwards, for more skill. And, you know, you have Tippett, you have Forster, you had Michkov now, you have Bobby Brink even. They need centermen, though. And it's been, again, a long look, and this guy will fit in very well.
Real quick question for you. Do you covet what they do against in the top tournaments, the under-18s, the World Juniors, more than you covet what they're doing in the NCAA or OHL, et cetera?
Well, in some ways, yeah. You always want to see the big games, whether it's in the tournaments, whether it's a playoff game, whether it's a big divisional game. You want to see what they do in the big moments.
Well, Jett Luchanko, a high riser, and he falls at 13, which is a great story there. And another OHL player, the 4th OHL player taken so far in the draft. Again, you were singing this guy's praises. We've had a lot of breakfasts the last few days, and every time you're Jett Luchanko. What is it so much about his game? You touched on it, but is there something special about him that you just think put him into this position?
Well, he's a guarantee because he has a B game. So
Night,
if
Lorraine.
you think that he's going to be a guy who's going to
Ooh.
produce 1 million points and he doesn't do that, he's fine. He'll still play in your top 6 because he can check and he can be a difficult guy to play against. He can do everything.
All right, well, let's go downstairs to Jeff Marek.
Jett, how cool was that introduction by Michael Buffer?
Yeah, it was unbelievable. It was definitely a really cool way to get introduced here. So, yeah, it was definitely special. I'll remember that forever.
Everybody here loved it. Now, you grew up in London, big London Knights fan as well, and you went to London Knights games. Who are some of the players that were your favorites?
I mean, yeah, they had some incredible teams growing up. So I think, you know, guys like Mitch Marner, guys like, you know, Matthew Tkachuk.
There's Nazem Kadri.
Nazem Kadri, yeah. That's his.
Who's that guy to his left? Oh, look at that, Mitch Marner.
Yeah, there's Marner, yeah. There's some really good teams growing up, so it's really cool way to kind of grow up and watch those guys and try and follow in their footsteps.
Matthew Tkachuk, did you ever think you would be a first-rounder like them?
I mean, I think I've always had the confidence in myself, but it's definitely a surreal experience.
You're a hard-working two-way guy. You're going to fit in great in Philadelphia. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Jett Luchanko. Elliot.
Danny, tell us about young Jett.
Hi, we're excited. You know, we're a little short as far as the depth pool and sentiment throughout the organization. Saw him play. We just loved what he brought to the table. Complete player. Really, really excited, you know, to see him wear the uniform down the years.
All right, there was a lot of noise coming out of Philadelphia the last couple of days. How close did you come to getting up into the top 5?
We tried. We inquired, like, you know, we have to. I think it's our duty to do. I don't think there was anything that was really close to it. There's more smoke than anything this time around, but we had to do our due diligence.
Thank you, Danny.
Thanks, Elliot.
All right, thanks, Elliot. We still await Cole Yzerman to be selected, a dynamic goal scorer, but still on the board. But there we see the pick getting in, Luchanko to Philadelphia. Next on the board is going to be the Buffalo Sabres, and there's a team desperate, I mean, to make the playoffs. They've missed the playoffs 13 straight years. How much pressure, Chuck, speak to this, how much pressure is there right now on Kevyn Adams? This pick isn't necessarily going to turn the whole franchise around, but to do something important and go in the right direction here.
Yeah, I mean, to me, the pick is almost the appetizer for the next 3 or 4 days. The main course will come, you know, by Monday. I mean, this is a franchise that's been a long time. They've been out. They've been building. They have some good young players. I think they were disappointed last year. They didn't take an additional step and maybe push a little bit closer to the playoffs. But right now, it's another opportunity to add a good piece. But you know, the big event will come in a couple days for them.
And the pick is in.
We would like to say hello to all our great fans back home in Buffalo watching. And to make our selection tonight will be former Sabres captain and current head coach, Lindy Ruff.
Cool, same stage as Celine Dion. With the 14th pick overall, the Buffalo Sabres would like to select from the Finnish Men's League, Konsta Helenius.
Ooh. Good pick, good pick, good pick, good pick.
Konsta Helenius. Again, no Finn was taken in the first round last year. Surprising for such a strong hockey nation.
We got some Finns in the chat. No, we got some Finns in the chat from
Helenius
Finland.
is off the board to the Buffalo Sabres. And again, this is just the second time since 2012 the Sabres haven't selected a player in the top 10. So a 14th overall pick. What does he mean to the Sabres?
Well, he's just going to add to their forward group. The Sabres have got power. They've got Dahlian. They've got Bowen Byram. They've got Samuelson. They're pretty set for the long term when it comes to the back end. But they need to find some skill and be able to play with much better pace and be more of an offensive threat. This guy will help them do that. You saw him represent Finland at the under-18s and the World Junior Championship, but also at the men's world. So this is a guy who can kind of do a little bit of everything for you. I think Helenius, though, definitely leans to the O side of things.
Yeah, so this is a player who plays in Liga Jukurit. Olli Jokinen's his head coach there. And Liga, generally speaking, it's a slow build in that league. Offensively, they it's almost like soccer on ice. They build things. Not at Jukurit. They play on straight lines like North Americans like to play, like we play in the NHL. It's a track meet. That fits right into this kid's build. So he leads the power play breakout. He drives defensemen back on zone entries. Most of his playmaking comes from the perimeter guys. So this isn't a guy that's going to play between the dots in the offensive zone, and that's going to be okay. You'll have to slip it to some of the other powerful people that they have in Buffalo. Interesting to see how this works out with the rest of the roster and if there's some other moving parts in Buffalo going forward, because I think this kid's going to hop over some of their prospects pretty early.
All right, Buffalo, they've missed the playoffs for a long stretch. Detroit's next on the board at 15 when we continue the NHL entry draft from Vegas. Oh, the family's loving every moment. Tears are flowing, hugs are happening here in Vegas.
Top free agents hit the open market.
He's the marquee guy everybody wants.
Who's ready to bolster their roster? Hockey Central signing season begins July 1st on Sportsnet.
Hey, frequent fryers. 2 new McShaker fries have landed. Check out new ramen and tzatziki flavors. But hurry, McShaker fries are only at McDonald's for a limited time.
Stop dreaming. Start shopping. Red Tag Days are on at Toyota with great offers on select models. Find yours today at shoptoyota.ca. Stop dreaming. Start shopping. Red Tag Days are on at Toyota with great offers on select models. Find yours at shoptoyota.ca.
Now,
Stay quiet.
We have to get out of the city.
Stay alive. A Quiet Place Day 1 now playing.
Excuse me, sorry. I can't find the gate number for New York.
Should have gone to Specsavers. Get 2 pairs of glasses for only $99 in the Specsavers summer sale.
To the organizers, the fun seekers, we know planning a hangout can be messy. Getting everyone to agree on something and keeping plans on track feels impossible. What if there was a place that has something for everyone? A plan that turns into a great memory. The best part? No reservations required. Make it more than a great night out. Make it an epic one. Make the finish line your next destination. Find a track near you at ontarioRacing.ca.
Only one app has everything Blue Jays.
Download the Sportsnet app today.
Welcome back to the Sphere in Vegas, the home of the 2024 NHL Draft. Sitting beside the newest member of the Buffalo Sabres, Konsta Helenius. And when we were in the combine, in Buffalo, you talked about 2 players specifically. First off, Alexander Barkov. Why is he so important to you?
Because he played in Tappara, that's why, and he was my favorite player growing up, so that's why.
Stanley Cup champion now, too.
Yeah.
Not too bad. I know that this man, Jesse Puljujärvi, was very important for you at the World Championships. This is a recent photograph. Why was he so important to you?
He's so good guy, you know. I was at the stands a couple games. He had a similar situation at the NHL, so we talk about that and everything. He's so good guy.
He's a lot of fun. A lot of his teammates like him. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Konsta Helenius. DA, Sam.
All right, the book on him says creative and smart player. What do you have?
Well, let's get some action from Konsta Helenius. In tight spaces, no problem. Shows some patience there. Look shot, then distributes. Here he is. A forecheck, no problem. He'll create the turnover and then go to the net front. Pick up a goal there. Helenius working down the strong wing, cuts it to the middle, and then you see he opens himself up for the shot. He's got a lane,
currently
boom, to the back of the net it goes. So for Helenius in Liga, you think about some of the players that have had success there.
Love all you guys
plenty
for
of them.
joining.
He's the next, 4th best all-time under 18.
All right, Detroit on the podium. Let's take a look.
Let's go Detroit. They're picking a Swede.
The Detroit Red Wings like to say a shout out to all our fans back in Hockeytown at Little Caesars Arena at our watch party. To make our first selection tonight, 4-time Stanley Cup champion, 7-time Norris Trophy winner, Hockey Hall of Famer, and Vice President of Hockey Operations, Nick Lindstrom.
With the 15th overall pick, the Detroit Red Wings are proud to present from Mora of Hockeyallsvenskan, Michael Brandsegg-Nygard.
Michael Brandsegg-Nygard. That is a historic pick. That's the first time in NHL history, gentlemen, a Norwegian has been picked in the first round. So congratulations to him as he heads to Hockeytown. And this is someone we've seen on the international stage, both at the World Juniors and at the World Championships.
Yeah, so what the Red Wings are getting in this player here is a guy, his game just kept getting better and better and better in the second half. As games got harder, high leverage games, he led Team Norway at the men's world with 3 goals in 7 games played. His playoffs playing in the Allsvenskan there with Mora, 10 points in 12 games. What does he do? He's heavy, hard, down low in the offensive zone. He's a load when he checks too. So he's not a guy that goes away. Like he's got a lot of go back at it, if you know what I mean. But offensively, when he explodes through the neutral zone, guys, and he gets any time in space, he shoots it in motion and he shoots it a ton. So this is a guy that's going to bring a lot of different elements to the Detroit Red Wings.
And maybe no surprise, guys, this is the 7th straight year that Detroit has selected a European player in the first round. They clearly love their scouts and their eyeballs out there in Europe.
Hockey world.
Well, they do a good job in Sweden. They've traditionally done a good job in Sweden. Just take a look at the guy who just presented the pick there in Nick Lindstrom.
Obviously, a history of great Swedes, great Scandinavians. They scout well everywhere, though. This is a franchise that obviously won a lot of Stanley Cups on the backs of some great scouting efforts. And you look at their overall group right now, they're starting to build a pretty incredible group of prospects, and obviously the next step is to push for a playoff spot.
You know, a lot of times these Norwegian players or Scandinavian players have to find the best place for them to play, and so he goes to play in Sweden, and he's in the Allsvenskan, which in my opinion is the perfect place for him. In the SHL, maybe he doesn't get the minutes. In the J20, he's probably too good for that league. You talk about him ripping pucks, Books. Let's get a sampling of that. We've seen it here. A guy who can do a number of different things for you. He looks a little bit to me like Marco Kasper, a pick that they made a couple of years ago in the first round. But you have to love it here. In motion, ripping it, hard, heavy, accurate, does those things really well. But he can defend as well. So it's more of a two-way guy than maybe some of the clips we showed showing his ability to shoot it.
I think his game translates very well to the North American ice surface. Like, he really likes to play in traffic and make some plays offensively and defensively in traffic. So I think that's going to fit well while he transitions over here instead of playing on the bigger ice over there. Allsvenskan, as you know, that's the second division in Sweden. That's the men's league. This kid, he's played at a high level already.
Yeah, exactly. It's a men's league, but it's a great league for young players to play because they can get ice time.
Great maturation there. Let's head down to the floor. Jeff Merrick once again.
I'm sitting beside a historic gentleman. Norway now has a first-round draft pick in the NHL. When we think of Norwegian hockey players, we think of Mats Zuccarello. We'll think of you as well now, and I know he's been really important in your life, both as a kid and now. Your thoughts on Mats Zuccarello?
I mean, he's a great guy. I play with him in the men's worlds. So
great shots.
Cool to watch him play, and it was a wonderful experience to play with him too. So yeah.
This is going to be a great battery for a long time. Now, one of the interesting things we learned about you is that your nickname is Taxi.
Yeah.
Why is your nickname Taxi?
I mean, my dad played for the men's
Snowdog
team
1968 is jealous that even though the Leafs will pick a set of golf clubs with the 23rd pick overall, they're going to be better than his golf clubs and his favorite team's golf clubs.
Well, you made history, Taxi. Congratulations. Well done.
Thanks.
Look good in red. Kyle.
So, Jeff, Michael Brandsegg-Nygard wanted to be like his father, Kjell, from a young age. You heard him mention his time in the top pro league in Norway, 14 years, 8-time Norwegian champion. So the rink was where Michael spent a lot of his days from the beginning. Look at this incredible footage, working on puck handling skills with his dad in the dressing room. His father's attempt to play pro hockey in North America and maybe get a shot in the NHL was derailed by the 04-05 lockout. So this is an incredible moment for the family for a whole host of reasons here, DA.
Great stuff there, Kyle, and we're almost halfway through. In fact, next up, it is going to be St. Louis. But let's get back out on the floor. Stevie Y standing by with Elliot.
You made history here. First Norwegian ever taken in the first round of the NHL draft. What did you see?
Well, he's a big, strong right winger. Great shot. Really good on the power play, playing in multiple spots on it. I think he's a really good two-way player. Strong physical, you know, even at he's a late 05, but very strong, well developed, as you can see. So we're very excited to get the pick, and really with what we've done with our prospects and the picks we've had.
That's a long ass
really
name to add.
Void more, but like
fit
a
on the
traditional
back of a hockey
scoring
jersey.
shooter off the wing, something we could really use in our organization.
Thank you very much, Steve.
Hey, Elliot, thank you.
All right, as we've been saying, that was a historic pick as we wait the St. Louis Blues pick. Again, the highest drafted Norwegian players in NHL history. And again, the only player ever selected in the first round, and Steen Solberg could join him in a matter of moments.
I would say we're going to see him in the first round too, and it'd be another one of those guys like in the same mold as a Jett Luchanko and a Beckett Sennecke, where he rises early in the first round.
St. Louis Blues taking the podium with the 16th pick in the NHL Entry Draft.
Yeah, I think this is going to be an Yzerman pick.
St. Louis Blues are pleased to select defenseman Artyom Jiricek, HC7.
Oh, Artyom Jiricek is gone. Damn it. Damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it.
So another right-handed defenseman in Artyom Jiricek goes 16th overall, the 7th defenseman we've seen taken so far in the draft, 6 in the top 12.
All right.
And the name sounds familiar to a lot of hockey fans because his older brother David, of course, was the sixth pick by Columbus just a couple of years ago. This is a player, guys, 16th overall, If it weren't for a knee injury, though, much higher potentially, right?
I was so excited to be able to watch him play at the World Juniors because I thought he was pretty pedestrian in his men's league play previous to that. And I thought getting back with his age group, we were going to see the guy that we saw as an underager who was so successful in the 17s and in the 18s. But first game they play, third period, wrecks his knee, keeps him out the rest
Why
of the
you
year.
all laughing at
we
me
saw
right
him at
now,
the
man? I got
combine. He's
upset.
still recovering. He's an extremely confident young man. There is no question about that. And I think there's so much currency built up from his international play in his draft -1 year and even his draft -2 year that allowed the St. Louis Blues to make this pick here. But because it's a knee issue, because it's a long recovery, it does come with a little bit of risk.
They would have had the medical on this. They would have dove really deep just to make sure, because a couple of things. At 167 pounds, like, he's going to get to about 185, 190 as he grows as a man. You know, his growth plate, he's still not done growing, right? So where's the knee fit in all that equation? They would have got all the medical on that and felt comfortable with it.
All right, so the Blues get Artyom Jiricek, 16th overall. We're halfway home through the first round. The tears say it all. The celebs out in full force tonight in Vegas. It's been a lot of big names making the picks here in Vegas.
The Blue Jays and the Yankees, and Dalton Varsho just hit it out of the ballpark.
Yankees, Blue Jays, tomorrow on Sportsnet.
Fans absolutely thirsting for this rematch. This fight's going to be incredible.
You know it's going to be all action. This card on pay-per-view is so stacked.
What's this?
They're non-negotiables. That's how restaurants at the highest level operate.
That's demented.
It's not perfect. It doesn't go out.
What's going on tonight? Have you been here before?
Twisted Tea fans love summer and the smooth, refreshing taste of Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea.
Home prices
Made
are
with real
crazy
brewed
in
tea
Toronto.
and just the right kick of lemon flavor. But
Go
don't take
Jays,
our
go.
word for it. Ask our
Blue
fans.
Jays.
Twisted Tea. Good
Let's
times
go,
with a
Blue
twist.
Jays.
Some of the most brilliant minds in business. No, not you. Or you. You. You're always looking for new insights with QuickBooks Online. And you use QuickBooks Payroll to pay your employees. And you send invoices with QuickBooks Payments so you can focus on this. Get the full picture of your business on one platform. That's how you business differently. Intuit QuickBooks.
The Chevrolet Silverado will take you there, wherever there is. And you'll roam further, climb higher, and grip tighter than you've ever imagined. The Chevrolet Silverado, built to take you where the trail ends, so you can go beyond.
This is the best I've ever seen.
My favorite act so far.
Upper Deck is so proud to be the title sponsor of the 2024 Upper Deck NHL Draft at Sphere. This season marks 30 years Young Guns trading cards collections among the most desirable rookie card brands in all of sport. Connor Bedard's Young Gun card was one of the most sought after in the 23-24 Upper Deck Series 2 flagship product. It's now available on Upper Deck's ePack online store. And speaking of stars and speaking of Upper Deck, and look who's here, Macklin Celebrini, the first overall selection made a couple of hours ago by the San Jose Sharks. Macklin, thanks for joining us here. What's been the best part of this whole experience so far today for you?
I think just the dream coming true for me. I've dreamt about this ever since I was a kid, and for it to finally come true, it's just amazing.
Now, we've seen a little Draymond Green. We've seen some Steve Nash. I don't know if you've had time to check your phone, but any cool text messages come your way just yet?
I haven't had that much time to check my phone, but I'm sure there are.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, and now you get an opportunity to be a teammate potentially this year, even with Will Smith, a big rival from last year. Have you guys chatted about that at all? Have you had any conversations with Will Smith?
We've talked a little bit. I'm really excited. He's obviously an amazing player and someone who I've had to defend for the last couple years, so I'm excited to play with him this time.
Macklin, thank you so much. Congratulations. Enjoy San Jose. Big night for the Sharks.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
There he is, the first
I got
overall
an
pick,
Austin
Macklin
Matthews stick, he
Celebrini.
scored
Let's get
60
back
goals.
down to
I
the
got
floor.
Marner's
Washington
gloves. I
Capitals,
got
they are on
Matthews'
the
gloves.
podium.
I got a whole bunch of
17th
signed
overall pick
jerseys.
coming your way
I got a
now.
Vladdy Guerrero baseball bat signed by Vladdy. I love collecting merch. Love
With
collecting
the 17th
merch.
selection, Washington picks Tij Parascak from Prince George in the Western Hockey League.
Who did they pick?
There it is for the Washington Capitals. Tij Parascak out of Prince George. He's from Lethbridge. They'll be cheering in Lethbridge. And that's a pretty sharp suit for him. Most points for a CHL rookie since Patrick Kane and Sam Gagner. 105 points. Incredible upside here with Tij Parascak, who goes to the Capitals at 17.
He's a fourth-round WHL.
No, I don't have Matthews' golf clubs. His golf clubs are owned by the Buffalo Sabres, the Ottawa Senators, and the Montreal Canadiens.
He's
All they
he
do
can
is
score
golf.
a little bit. And they had a decision to make with a veteran team as to
Matthews
whether or not they
has
would
never
keep him. They
missed
had a
the playoffs.
conversation with him, Mark Lamb,
Never.
the general manager and head coach, and
Matthews
they said, hey,
has never
we think
missed
the
the
best thing
playoffs.
for you to do
McDavid
is
has
play.
missed the
Go back
playoffs.
to the edge
The Ottawa
school,
Senators have
play
missed
in
the
all kinds of
playoffs. The
situations,
Montreal
play
Canadiens
a
have
ton
missed
of
the
minutes.
playoffs.
He puts up
Even Sidney
66
Crosby has
points
missed the
there. He comes
playoffs.
to camp this
Ovechkin
year.
has missed the
They start
playoffs.
to elevate
Guess
him
who
to the
hasn't
top
missed the
line.
playoffs?
His first 18
Mr.
games, he's got
Austin
17
Matthews
goals.
since he's
And the pace
been in the
didn't stop
NHL
for
day one.
Parascak all season long.
So,
and here he is having used
everybody
that
else has got his
experience
golf
from
clubs.
going back to the edge school and all the minutes to help his development to get to a point where he's putting up over 100 points in the Western Hockey League as a 17-year-old
Parascak,
on a
not
really
bad
good
pick.
team. An understated player, but you can't talk enough about his abilities and just being around it, knowing where to go, knowing where to get it back. I love this player, and this is a pick that I think Washington's really going to appreciate his smarts here down the road.
Yeah, so you said it best. He's cerebral. You know, it's incredible. He's always making plays. He's always around the puck. So elite hockey sense is what I say to this. Like he's not gonna kill you off the rush with his speed. Like he's not a pure burner, you know, but he's gonna extend plays. He's gonna find quiet ice. He's gonna have an active stick to strip it off a defenseman like this. And when he gets a look at the net, guys, good things are happening.
And they've been stocking up, right? Pierre-Luc Dubois, they made a trade
Richard,
for Andrew
you know what's
Montiel. They made a trade for
important?
yesterday.
Not
so
missing
they're
the
definitely trying to find some
playoffs
offense because
ever.
it was a tough year trying to score
On a rebuilding
in
team. How about you go
Washington
back
this
to
season.
2016,
They've only missed the
2017, and
playoffs once
2018?
in the last
Look at the
10 years, and they're
rebuilding
hoping that
rosters that the
young
Leafs
players
had
and
on the
prospects
ice.
like
Some of the
Parascak keep
worst
them going in the right
rosters in the
direction.
One of the
history
most
of the
difficult
NHL,
things to do
and yet
because you have
Matthews
the
never
Ovi
missed
thing
the
and the story
playoffs.
and chasing
So,
Gretzky, yet at the same
whether
time,
how
you know
many
your team
rounds
is
he
aging.
wins
There-
is a
some of their
team
players
thing.
left, no Backstrom
It's
now,
not
no
a Matthews
Kuznetsov.
thing. It's a
Carlson's
team
getting
thing.
older, and so how
But
do you retool
Austin
on the fly
Matthews
here?
has
You
done
have to
something
make your picks. You have to
a
be smart
lot of
about
the
it, and you
NHL
have to
superstars
influx some youth
have
into
done,
the
which is
lineup.
miss
right,
the
let's get back
playoffs.
to the floor
Austin
now with
Matthews
Jeff
has
Merritt.
never missed the
All right,
playoffs.
Tij, Beckett Sennecke
Cut
was
this
surprised
back.
that he got
Take it for what
chosen
it
third
is.
overall. Let's have a look at your reaction when the Washington Capitals just selected you. Talk us through this. What's going through your head? What are you thinking?
I don't even know. I completely blacked out. This is such an unbelievable moment. I don't even know what to say. I'm lost for words.
Well, congratulations. 43 goals,
Bro,
105
facts are
points
facts.
in the Western
Austin
Hockey
Matthews has
League.
never missed
As
the
a rookie,
playoffs. He
hockey's
almost
pretty
ripped home
easy, right?
70 goals last year. He scored
guess you could say
69.
What do you still need to work on before you go back
scored
to PG?
51 goals in
Yeah, I
50
think a lot
games.
of it comes
All
down
he's
to
doing
just
is
throwing
putting
in
up
my
Mario
body, filling out a bit more, putting a lot
Mario
more muscle,
Lemieux
and,
level
I
stats.
think speed of the game
Mario
as well, getting a
Lemieux
little bit
level
faster, too.
stats.
Well, listen, have a great
51
offseason. Congratulations.
51
You
goals in
Washington
50
Capital.
games.
Have a great
And
offseason. We'll see you back
69
in PG
goals
next year.
in the
Thank you very
season.
much.
That's Mario Lemieux level
I'm
stuff.
just loving the shock and
So,
awe on his
you
face.
can
when
hate
Jeff
all
asked
you
him
want.
about it.
All you're
That's
doing
such
is
a great
just showing me
moment,
how
right? 'Cause they're
jealous
living
you
out
are.
the dream. They're not
Because the
expecting it,
Leafs
and there it is.
live
Maybe he shouldn't have been
rent-free in
surprised.
your
When you
head.
look at the company he's keeping,
Daily.
100-point
Er
rookie
day.
season in the
Er day,
CHL.
er day,
This is
every
in the
day.
last 24 years. That's it. That's your list. Look who he's there with.
Yeah,
No
and he
one's
deserves to
running
be in that
Marner out
company.
of
You know, he
town.
got off to that hot start,
What's
and
clear
everyone wondered if he
is
was going to be able to
the
keep it
equation
up.
in
Playing with
Toronto
good
in terms of the
players,
players
over
they
there,
have
Zayne,
is not working.
O'Reilly
So
had
they
a
got to
couple of
change the
NHL drafted
equation.
players, and he
There's
fit
nothing
right
wrong with
in them,
Marner. He scores
facilitating
100
and
points.
scoring at the same
He's one of the
time.
best
I really like this
playmakers in the
player.
NHL.
he's going to a
The
team
problem
that
is
obviously loves
the Leafs
offense,
need
has
a
great
different kind
history
of
and track
scoring when it
record
comes
of
to the
the last
playoffs.
20 years
And
with Ovechkin,
unfortunately, you got to shed salary
producing
to add
offense. The team
salary.
in transition, as you mentioned.
There's nothing wrong with
They've been
Marner.
stocking up on a lot of forwards the last few
Teams
years,
need
but
elite
this is a
playmaking,
team
and
that
he's going to
certainly
be an
needs some
elite
talent, and he'll
playmaker.
bring it.
All right, we're awaiting the Chicago Blackhawks. They're going to be on the podium in just about a minute. And again, if you're just tuning in, Chicago going with that right-handed coveted defenseman and Levshunov back. Seems like hours ago.
I don't know what kind of
sphere.
crazy lens you're looking at.
For another defenseman, or maybe they're going to try and get a coveted forward.
Matthews got hurt in the playoffs and missed games. Nylander missed the first 3 games. Guess what happened in the first game? Nylander came back in the playoffs, played game 4, won the game all by himself, scored 2 goals, and won the game. So Nylander won a game all by himself. Matthews won game 2 in Boston all by himself, scored a goal and 2 assists. So if those guys don't get hurt in that series, 1,000% the Leafs don't lose to the Boston Bruins.
Just the best player available. So whatever's going on with I'm interested in this pick because of the trade that was made before the draft.
All right, for the second time tonight, the Chicago Blackhawks are on the podium.
Chicago Blackhawks are proud to select from the Muskegon Lumberjacks, Sacha Boisvert.
Sacha Boisvert?
Really nice moment there for the Boisvert family. He's from Trois-Rivières in Quebec. Trois-Rivières, I should say. A North Dakota commit. And he says he idolizes Alexei Kovalev. The Hawks would love the next generation Alexei Kovalev, I would think.
Yeah, he's that's a lofty one, and I like it. You know, like let's set the bar really high. This kid here, as he continues to add more strikes. So at the beginning of the year, let me kind of paint a picture. Skating was a little bit of an issue on straight lines. You know, could he separate in open ice? Because when he got to the offensive zone, great stick, and he's another big guy, kind of like Beckett, Sennecke, who's tall but can make plays in close to his body. I think he's a shooter more than a playmaker, but it's on the rise because he's getting from A to B quicker.
Bro,
it comes from a boxing background.
Points
so his dad owns a boxing gym
are
in
based on your line mates and how good they are. Let's say Wayne Gretzky scored 200 points in the NHL. He had 100 and he had probably had like 140, 50 assists. That's because his 2 wingers were 50 goal scorers. So that's where points come from. Points is not just you. You have to play with elite talent to get that kind of score. But goals are an individual thing. Matthews, the most goals scored since he came into the NHL, way at a higher rate than Ovechkin throughout his career so far. He is killing the goals stat. Now, that's an individual thing. You want to talk about individual stats? Let's talk about goals. You want to talk about line mates and how many times you can set up Draisaitl for a one-time slap shot into the net? That's another thing.
And he also backtracked on a play, so he has the ability to do it all.
The Hawks get their guy at 18 and Sacha Boisvert. There's been a lot of surprises so far. Look at the
They talk about his
faces, and he
91
says it all.
goals.
What a night
They
it's
talk
been in
about
Vegas here this
Ovechkin
year.
chasing the
18
goals.
picks
They
down,
talk
many
about
more coming your
91
way.
goals. They talk about 50 goals in 50 games. Nobody talks about points.
Gnarly. Back in my day,
No,
I used to
Zach
call this
Hyman
the 180 spice bomb. Watch this.
Agreed to literally stand by the net and have everything go off his face, his chest, his knee, his arm. Literally, they said, if you just stand there, I will knock the puck off of you and into the net. That's what Zach Hyman did. So 100%, if Zach Hyman didn't choose to stand there, if some soft winger was there, there wouldn't be a 50 goal scorer and there wouldn't be 100 assists.
Is officially over. Assemble the Mega Minions. I have big plans for them. Good luck with that.
On July 3rd, the funniest movie of the summer arrives. Illumination's Despicable Me 4.
Dad, where do bunnies live?
Well, you guys can say that the Leafs are never going to win the Stanley Cup or they're never going to make it to the Stanley Cup. Guess what you're going to do when McDavid signs with the Leafs in 2026? You're going to cry online.
Where does the sun go at night?
You're going to cry online.
The all-new, fully redesigned 2025 Subaru Forester.
That cap's going to be over $100 million.
Where do babies come from?
And the Leafs are going to throw every single dollar they have at
seekers.
McDavid.
We know planning a hangout can be messy.
Getting everyone to agree on something and keeping plans on track feels impossible. What if there was a place that has something for everyone? A plan that turns into a great memory. The best part? No reservations required. Make it more than a great night out. Make it an epic one. Make the finish line your next destination. Find a track near you at OntarioRacing.ca.
You're all gonna be so
Sacha
salty when
Boisvert,
the
no
Leafs sign
stranger to
McDavid in
performing on the big
2026.
stage at 9 years old, like on a hot run of the tables here in Vegas. The odds went his way. His team was selected to play on the Bell Center ice and gave that building a taste of what he hopes to be doing in the NHL. One of his favorite players was Evgeny Malkin. The gang mentioned his background in boxing. Through that, got a chance to meet him when he was a young kid as well.
The Leafs are
Now
the
a
only
chance
one
to
that are going
play
to be
against
able to
them
pay
in the
him the
NHL,
way
and
he
he's
wants to
standing by
get
with
paid.
Jeff.
Thank you very much, Sacha. We were just talking a couple of seconds ago about Alex Kovalev and how much of a fan you were. How many times did you watch the famous
Hey
Alexei
Kevin, you want to
Kovalev
see what
DVD?
you want to see a choke?
I
Bruins
couldn't
up
tell you. I would
3.
say every day of the week I used to watch it. Move
The
everything
Bruins
and live
up
another
versus
way
the
and
Florida
kinda
Panthers. Choke.
recreate what he was doing on the screen.
One-handed backhand shots.
Yeah, I'll work on that. Working on that. Yeah, yeah, it's great.
Thank you so much and congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
David.
All right, Jeff, there's Sacha Boisvert, the newest member of the Chicago Blackhawks.
It's
Next on the board,
funny.
it's the host city, the Vegas
It's funny
Golden
how the
Knights, with
Leafs
a
get
19th
made fun
selection.
of, and yet they own.
Remarkably, they
The
win the
Leafs
Stanley
haven't won a
Cup back
Stanley
in
Cup in God knows how many years, 55
what,
years, 60 years. It could be
2023 with just
100
one
years.
drafted
Who
player,
cares?
Nick Hague on the
Guess
team.
what your team is never doing? Winning one Stanley Cup to get close to their 13 total.
Not because guys want to come to Vegas.
The Leafs
It's a little
have
easier to bring them
13,
in.
and yet your team can't get even one closer to
The
that.
only problem with being drafted by Vegas is sometimes you're put
think that's valid.
put in a trade package. At the
Your
deadline to
favorite
go to another
team
for,
can't even
for
win
a top
one.
prospect, but
There's George McPhee as well as Kelly McCrimmon. They're set to make their pick and maybe get a big ovation here. It is a home crowd for them, but again, so many people from other
Bruins are
places here
choke
'cause it
artists.
is
It's not the
Vegas.
first
So let's hear
time
what
the
Vegas Golden
Bruins
Knights have to
choked.
say at 19.
You know what's funny? You know what? The funniest thing is how the Bruins turned the narrative on the Leafs and that they choked when they were down 3-1 in a series where they had no business being in that series. The Leafs had such an inferior roster to the Boston Bruins. They had James Reimer and net. They had Tyler Bozak and James Van Riemsdyk as 2 of their top 3 players. And guess what the Leafs did? They won in Boston, won in Toronto, and then they forced the Game 7 versus the Bruins, who were high-end cup contenders that year. And yet, when the Leafs were up and came back and made a series out of it, they called the Leafs the chokers. Meanwhile, it's the Bruins that were throwing up all over themselves in that series. With Tuukka Rask net.
An off-ice situation. He had an
Listen,
anti-Semitic social media post a few
all
years ago.
of the nonsense. The Leafs have never won 3 rounds to win a Stanley Cup. The Leafs only played in the league with whatever rules were there at the time. The Leafs didn't control the rules or how many rounds there were or how many teams there were. Here's the fact. They got 13 Stanley Cups, and no matter how many cups your teams win, which they don't, a lot of your teams are winning Stanley Cups. So guess what they're never doing? The Leafs could go 100 years, 200 years, but guess what your team is never going to do? Get to the Leafs 13 Cups.
I think the other thing I'd say to that, when you look at the hockey side of things, the U.S. Under-18 program and the USHL goes to the World Under-18 Championships.
The Leafs are coming up.
They
Let's
tweak
go.
their roster with players. They bought Trevor Connolly in from the USHL to compete with that team. They were in the driver's seat, leading Canada 3-1 in the final game. Connolly takes a checking to the head penalty. It's a 5-minute major. Canada scores 3 times in the power play. They go on to win that championship. And there were some who, aside from the off-ice things, were questioning what happened on that play as basically a guest on that team that essentially cost them the gold medal. Yet, when you scout them in a vacuum, the top 10 talent picked at 19, you're going to see value there.
I'm trying real hard just to stick to the value of the player, and he's an exceptional player. He's got all-world skill. He's got fantastic offensive upside. But I just want to really briefly take advantage of where we're at right now in the world. Any young athlete who's out there who has dreams of being professional athletes, be very careful of your social media and what you do in the real world, because it never goes away.
So Trevor Connolly goes at number 19 to the Vegas Golden Knights. Some smart words there from Jason Bukala. It's been a sensational night here, though, in Vegas, and a big scene stealer has been the Sphere. What a scene it is. A great setting for a great night for all these NHL prospects.
Luchanko is gone. Igor Chernyshov is still there.
For the first time in the